Hello. Hi, everybody. Ooh. How's everybody doing? Scooch in a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the one. You see? This is the one.
Oh,
to see you on for the stream, yeah.
Is this too close?
That's fine.
Cute.
That's totally fine.
Fabulous.
Ooh, we gotta get hyped up.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Drink a little more water.
Monday blues just means you're live. If that's what you have.
Ooh. All right. You wait for people to come on in.
Let me get my chat
Your
thing
chat
up too, yeah.
Make sure we're good here.
Okay.
What you doing, Mika?
Hi,
Hi.
Miki. Want me to spend some points on you, girl? Let's see. That's how we get the hype up. Let's see.
Mika. Mika.
Chill. Oh, I have plenty of points. Here we go. This one's for you.
Mika.
If you don't want to, I will.
Come here, baby.
And then here's some Mika points. I gotta pay for it.
Take on Eric Adams, launching a crypto coin to combat anti-Semitism. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Good.
Also, how's it going, Barcode?
Thank you. She says, what's up?
Yeah, it's the first I'm hearing of it. I'll have to take a look. Whew. Hi, Mika.
She's the reason for every season.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
What's that? Cowboy bacon? What the heck?
NYC token.
Where is it?
Former New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced the launch of his digital coin, NYC token, at a press conference at Times Square. Maria Bartiromo. Hey, Scarecrow. What up, buddy? Adams said the coin will work to combat anti-Semitism as well as anti-Americanism nationwide.
Yes, she is. Soaking up the camera time.
Oh, yeah. So just going to those non-profits, like, okay.
She's a star.
I mean, who knows? We'll see, right? Because he's kind of corrupt as fuck, so who knows?
Want to sit on my lap? No? If I could shrink you, I would.
I'm all in. All right. Well, I hope it's awesome.
Don't fall. No.
I hope it turns out to be what he says it is. That would be awesome. That'd be dope. Do my part to fight anti-Semitism. You gotta do your part.
Yeah.
For the Jews. Oh, spam in the chat. Spam in the chat.
Yeah, what have you guys done today to fight anti-Semitism?
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Facts. Wait, truing. See, the problem is I can't do all of those emojis
Why
in
not?
the phone. I don't know. It's locked.
You should be able to.
I know. Probably doing it wrong.
Oh, because you have to be a subscriber.
Under that
Yeah,
one.
but they're also here as well. So the subscriber ones
Ooh,
just let you do it
fancy.
in different people's chats rather than just mine.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. True,
Nice.
Scarecrow.
Be smart.
But
This'll be fun.
I do love me some playoff football.
Yeah, you do. How about those Rams, though?
How about them Rams? That was actually a tough win. I hope we play better next. Panthers match up well against us, though. Wait, what? Where?
Wait, what's going on in this?
It's about this crypto. Where does it say that? Where did it say that barcode? Okay. Man, that'd be crazy. From the black pill this year, Rams are gonna have to see my cardiac bears. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be quite a game. Launched a 100 million market apparently tanked instantly. Oh shit.
Cardiac Bears. Am I missing something?
He's just talking about the Chicago Bears.
Huh.
Couldn't find any data.
Where do you get the cardiac from?
It's just a nickname.
Okay.
Just a nickname. Yeah.
I don't know where. Good job.
7 games in the last 2 minutes this year. Oh, that's why.
Yeah, your heart's can't handle it.
Because you're po hot.
Yeah. I love a good heart attack game. Just wreck me emotionally. That's what I'm here for. Maybe physically too. Why not a heart attack? My first one. That we know of.
Let's see if there's more. CoinDesk.
Damn, where's Daniel?
I don't know. I say we just let the EU take over DC at this point. Turn it into a commie hellhole? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not getting any data on it right now, Barcode. Where did you see that it was, tanking? Oh my goodness.
Simmer down.
Thank you.
Simmer down. You're
Thank you.
hoping for some hype. Go on.
Give some claps for Aurora here.
Or. Aka, you want some?
What? Apple? Some apple? So it.
Wow.
Click buy, go to Jupiter.
Healthy.
How do I go to Jupiter? Oh. Okay. Jeez.
Now that's a token I could buy.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I said. Adams is corrupt as fuck. There's no such thing as playing too much No Man's Sky. Can I buy that?
Correct. Eh? Yeah, half is yours. Right? It's a splitsy. It's a little tougher because it's been in the fridge. It's tougher since it's been in the fridge, but careful.
Careful?
Yeah.
What?
Might lose a tooth or something. I don't know. I mean, you can have half of it and then.
I mean, we're still playing there.
Yeah. You know, you can have more than half of it if you want. It's your apple.
Interesting, Marcon.
Oh. Where they built their stadium. How so?
Like Jupiter, the planet.
Oh no.
Has lots of helium, hydrogen.
Fear for your dental health. No. You can cut it. Cut it up.
Let's share.
Cut that apple up. I mean, you can keep you regular. I've had one every day for a while. Except for this week. This is the first one, so.
This sounds like fucking nonsense.
The substation. Huh. Like, how? Oh, interesting. Would you go back up after you're done reading down?
Okay. Uh-huh. It is fucking pseudoscience. I'm talking about Faraday's. Dude, this is some woo-woo fucking crap. Fuck the 49ers. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of them. In before Manon ionizing. You just don't understand physics, fucking retard.
So proud of you.
Well, we have to take care of you first, Scarecrow. You realize that, right? Oh my god, so scary. Electric vehicles. Oh no, they're gonna EMF you. Should be of interest to the NFLPA. No, it shouldn't. I've seen enough, I believe it. Yep, that's how public intellectual. Because that's how fucking shit works.
Go over there. It says we do a little trolling. If you look at the bio.
Yeah, who knows?
Pa? Good girl. Okay, fine. There.
Thank you, finally.
That's it. Cut off. Who am I kidding?
Nope, exactly. Yeah, Barcode, this is a big old nuttin' burger. Yeah, tons of houses there too. You know, people getting fucking injured all the time. Yep. Any evidence? Their response is no one here is playing a professional sport. You realize playing a fucking professional sport means you can get fucking injured, right? You absolute retarded motherfuckers. This is the proper response. Just lining up yet another excuse from Weinerville. That's the actual proper response to this. Yeah, Barcode, this is not a real thing. This is pseudoscience.
Fake news.
Oh, whoa, who's this guy?
Gotcha.
Yeah. They've been practicing there since 1988. 3 Super Bowl rings, 3 additional Super Bowl runs, multiple playoff runs, Hall of Fame careers, none impacted by this bullshit. Of course. It's just unlucky. And I guess their conditioning coach is fucking shit. It happens. Sometimes you get a fucking really shit injury season, and the Niners happen to have a lot of players that get injured a lot. It's just the way she goes. There's a real level of pride in sports fandom that makes us not even understand an ACL tear when we see it in real time. Nobody should ever get hurt as a football fan. Yeah.
That toy looks cool.
Oh yeah, I've seen these. Ugh.
That was. Whew.
Pew. Pew. What up, Cinderella?
Welcome back.
How's it going? How's it going? We're having a good time. Are we having a good time today?
Ha ha ha.
Dying?
Oh no.
Like, why?
You laughing about something?
Oh, as a broken person, no fan wants to see it, but it builds a greater story. That makes sense. Yeah, but also fuck the 49ers. Oh, in a video game. Okay. True.
Like the one that I'm thinking that you're
Arc
playing.
Raiders for sure. Arc Raiders for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty dramatic.
Yeah, it was extremely dramatic. He was just like, dying! Exactly. The bitch ass whiners. I hope you're not a 49ers fan, Barcode. I'm a Rams fan. I hate them.
No. Hey, when you're
How
superior,
no?
you're superior. You don't have to have hate.
How?
You know.
It's a lot more to it than that.
Nah, I suppose.
I don't even know how prevalent injuries are for them. They're pretty bad this year. They've had a remarkable year. But as I was looking into it, Barcode, they've been practicing next to that substation since 1988. And since that point, they've won 3 Super Bowls, lots of Hall of Famers. It's just nonsense.
You gotta balance the electrons. We're friends. It's nice.
All right, let's see what Jerome Powell has to say. Oh, Richard Hanania.
For Narnia.
What's he got? Oh, yeah. We saw this earlier on Tiny's stream. Bro, this is so stupid. This is the guy that everybody is, like, looking at now as, like, their big fucking... Ooh, he's our big right-wing investigative journalist. This is the guy.
Oh. The kid.
Cold could be a big deal. We play in SoCal. It's usually pretty nice here, so I don't know. We'll see. I hope not.
That is sad to hear.
Does it seem like a bit? I mean, do we watch like a whole bunch of it? No one's calling it a bit.
I found the toy. I'm gonna order. I'm gonna order.
What are you getting? Oh my goodness.
I might send it to my dad.
Okay. It isn't. Oh. Probably because they're so desperate they embrace Candace and Nick like they have actual popular opinions. And they don't. You know what? I actually agree with Tim right now. Universal literacy was a mistake.
Literalcy.
Literalcy. Oh no. I'm
Literalacy.
being infected by dumb. Mega stop.
Benevolence. It's a new word.
Benevolent. Benevolent. The way he stumbled through it.
I heard benevolent.
Benevolent. Republicans are splintering in real time. It's pretty great. Pretty great.
Yeah, it's only fair.
Did you see what Trump said on Air Force One today with Caroline Leavitt creeping in the background? Watching it feel like it's between two firms, they're actually being serious. Yeah, but like the interviewer must be like holding back laughing the whole fucking time. Yeah. How much of this are we gonna watch? Bungie, Gino have a bipolar episode on his show exposing the Republican deep state. Yeah, we need to look at that.
Ooh.
Skulking in the shadows. We got no sound. Oh no, I did it again. Let me play. Okay, so I need to play. Guys, listen to this, okay? This is the guy. This is the guy who apparently exposed the whole Minnesota fraud thing.
This is the
And
guy.
so he got interviewed recently, and just as we suspected, he's a retard.
He's
Who
pretty
do you
dumb.
think are the 3 most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Trump, our president. I think he.
Who do you?
I'm sure Elon's on that list. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Off in about 10 minutes, so we'll have to go a little bit quickly. They just said
We'll have to go a little bit
very,
quickly.
very rough.
Sir, on Iran, have they crossed your red line yet to trigger a
I
response?
know they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that
Haven't there been like 500 people killed? I know, she's just creeping the whole fucking interview. It's so weird. Look.
She's smelling his back.
She's just there the whole time. She's like Pam Bondi in South Park. She's got shit on her nose.
aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military's looking at it. And we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Which options have you
I didn't
been
know that.
briefed on? Are you meeting with senior officials?
I'm going to tell you the
Are you meeting with your
Am I going to really, are you asking me to say what will they do? Where
What
will
will
we
I
attack?
do?
When? And at what angle will we attack from? Who are you with?
I'm with the
Have you
US
seen him
White House
talk?
TV
Yeah.
pool. I'm wondering, are you being briefed on options? I'm with CNN, sir.
Oh, CNN. Why don't you just say I'm with CNN? Because you are hostile towards the media, you fuck.
You just said with CNN. She says, I'm with the White House pool. And I say,
Oh, I
what?
didn't know that, Scarecrow.
You're with CNN. You're with
I'm with CNN,
you're
yeah.
with fake news.
Iran
Because
said
CNN is
that-
Oh,
fake
come
news.
on.
Go ahead, give me a question.
Can I ask how you're balancing and how you're deciding your response, the balance
What a
between
child.
holding protesters
he's fake.
versus hindering them? Because I imagine that's a delicate balance to strike.
I mean, some of the protesters were killed through the stampeding. I mean, there's so many of them. And some were shot. We get a full report. I'm getting an hourly report, and we're going to make a determination.
Sir, the son of the disposed Shah.
Disposed Shaw. She means deposed Shaw, just to be clear. I think it's funny, though, that they act like Minneapolis is some sort of Antifa stronghold. Yeah, look at
Son of the disposed Shah, and some military leaders are encouraging you to take action in Iran. Is that a serious option? And are you listening?
People have been shot, and we're looking at it. Yeah, please.
Are you going to go to Venezuela or is Secretary Rubio going
Do you know how to reply, like, directly to a message?
On the computer.
Yeah, so you just
I do look at, but
tap, and then you can reply.
way down there. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. Haven't attempted that.
We're doing well. Venezuela is really working out well. We're working along really well with the leadership, and we'll see how it all works out.
Are we going to meet with Kelsey to go?
At some point I'll meet. Yeah, she's been very good. Look.
Wait,
She asked-
how did
at
your
some point
meeting
I'll
go?
meet, yeah.
At some
Been
point, I'll
very
meet.
good. Look.
Did they
She
not
asked
meet?
us, can we take 50 million barrels of oil? And I said, yes, we can. It's 4.2 billion.
4 billion.
And, it's on its way right now to.
Jesus.
When will you
vibing.
meet with Machado this week?
For something to grab
A
here.
slutty look over his shoulder.
It's going to get rough, and I don't seem to be in a very. I think you did this to me. You put me in a position where there's absolutely nothing to grab. So I'm looking for something to grab, and it's not going to be Caroline.
Oh! I called it. There's something going on there.
Companies make commitments to you, sir?
I'm worried.
Have any oil companies made commitments
Ew.
to the United States after your meeting on Friday, sir?
Trust me.
That's gross.
Have Exxon,
No, I don't want to say. No, I didn't like Exxon's response. We have so many that want it. I'd probably be inclined to keep Exxon out. I didn't like their response. They're playing too cute.
What backstops or guarantees have you told the oil companies that you're willing to provide?
Scarecrow, he probably has.
That there's going to be no problem, and there won't be. There's not going to be a problem. They had problems. in
Hey,
the past.
Cryptic. Trump is sexually harassing his press secretary. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. She's already slurping behind the scenes.
They didn't have Trump as a president.
She's just creeping the whole time.
She kind of seems like she's
What kind
starting.
of deal are we
When
looking
you
for?
make a deal.
What kind of deal are you looking for from Cuba? What kind
So
of
I
deal
heard
are
you had
looking for
power.
from Cuba?
And influence.
Find out pretty soon. We're talking to Cuba.
I want that.
And you'll find out pretty soon. And one of the things I want taken care of, and one of the groups I want taken care of, are the people that came from
Why is she
Cuba
45 looking like she's
that were forced
15?
out or left under
I don't
duress.
know.
And they're great
You can tell
citizens
there's
of the
work.
United
The lip
States
filler.
right now. You have a lot of people forced out of Cuba,
Needs to go
unfairly. So
talk.
we're going to take care of, most importantly right now, we're going to take care of the people that came from Cuba that are American
I mean, it
citizens
works.
or in our country.
It's like,
Do you plan to seize any oil tankers that are headed to Cuba?
Well, we have a lot of oil
Yeah.
people really interested.
A lot of
You know
oil
that
people
that was
are
just
really
the room-
interested.
The room in the White House, we need the ballroom actually. We could have filled up the ballroom practically. We have so many people that want to go in for oil.
Oh no.
So there's some great companies.
Are you going to send Starlink to Iran, sir?
Flip
to
that.
help the people in the ground with the internet blackout for
He's
70
like,
more than 72 hours?
what is Starlink? I don't know. Oh, it's an Elon thing. Elon will take care of it. He's great, you know. For a minute we weren't good, but he's okay now. He likes me again. Those lips that Trump loves talking about, the lips with huge injection
she's
sites.
got those lips.
Exxon, we won't invest in Venezuela. Trump, Exxon is banned from investing. True. I didn't like him, so I'm not going to let him do it. Exxon sitting there like, bro, we didn't want to. He's like, no, you're not allowed to. They're like, okay.
Talking about that, we may get the internet going, if that's possible.
Is that her?
Elon.
Speak to
Elon.
Elon.
Good at that kind of thing.
He's very good at that kind of
We
thing.
may speak to Elon Musk. And in fact, I'm going to call him as
Oh.
soon as I'm finished with you.
He hasn't blocked you?
Quickly,
They
Iran
made
said
up,
that
right?
They would consider military and commercial bases as legitimate targets if you struck. Are you concerned about?
If they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will.
There's
hit
your
them
upper lip always.
at
Upper
levels
lip
that
always
they've never
chapped. Is
been
that
hit before.
herpes?
They won't
Is
even
that the
believe it.
hoipies?
I have options that are so strong.
Why does
So,
your
I mean,
upper
if
lip
they did
always
that,
chapped?
It'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
Stop licking it.
That's good
It's
English.
bothering me now.
Don't you think so, CNN? Don't you think so? Would you say that?
Anytime they open their mouth, he's like, she'll be like, Trump, you've done a good job on this thing. Fuck you, CNN. You're fake news. Apparently, Trump was farting up a storm when he met with those oil execs. One of them mentioned that Trump smelled like rotting meat. Wait, really? Do you have a link for that? I want to see this.
He does. Well,
Grumpy Coast, what up? Hey guys, hey Arena.
hello.
Feel free to chill and hang out. If you guys want to jump in and talk to, you can. Aurora is here, IRL today. Elon is our sexual disease correspondent. He knows all of the diseases. Every single one.
Probably do at this point. After going through it for years
Some could
with
say
me,
he's the ambassador
being
The
the
ambassador
of sexual
al-Baghdadi,
disease.
of sexual
the Iran
disease.
nuclear threat.
Al-Baghdadi.
Don't you think? And then you just had.
Your impersonation is so
Venezuela.
good.
Don't
Thank you.
think, she says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously?
He's gonna get to
Wouldn't
start
you say
naming
they
them,
do
too.
after all of the
Dude,
things
that
we've
actually
done?
Al-Baghdadi reminds me of this thing, Ryan Macbeth, who is this YouTube guy who used to be like in officer in the army doing like coordination and stuff. Every time he would talk about like a bad guy they had to kill, he like a terrorist bad guy, he'd call him Daddy Al-Batty.
Oh. That needs.
It's so funny. Daddy Al-Batty. Elon,
good.
Elon even saw Trump derangement syndrome in his transgender daughter. He can diagnose AIDS from a mile away.
What a stupid question.
Wait, CNN, right?
Do you think
CNN.
they take your threats? Venezuela, don't you think she's out?
CNN, of
Don't
course.
you think? And then you just had
Don't you
Venezuela.
think?
Don't you think? She says, CNN. Do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done?
I mean, to be fair,
To be fair.
that is kind of a stupid fucking question. After what they did in Venezuela, like, do you think Venezuela takes your threat seriously? I mean, like, fucking probably. To be fair.
You should ask himself if he's thinking.
To be fair.
To be fair.
to be
To be fair. 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 Hey, I just looked it up. Apparently, it was fake news. The things about Trump smelling like rotten roast beef. That being said, I choose to believe it actually happened. You know what? I'm with you on that.
Of course.
We know he poopies his diapers.
He
so.
only eats American the fast foods.
McDonald's. To be
It's
fair.
good as a treat.
To be fair. McDonald's is amazing.
That's all
What a
he eats.
stupid question.
Wait, I gotta do that. What a stupid question.
You do a good impersonation.
Thank you.
Are you coordinating with allies on the response to Iran?
Mr. President, when will you meet with
Yep.
Maria Corina Machado this week?
Rotten Big Macs, 30-year-old spermicidal nude, sophisticated ditty.
Named your board of peace for Gaza yet? Where do
I can
those
smell it
plans
now.
I can smell it
Is
now.
the most important leaders of the most important nations. All nations, but the most important.
All nations.
The most important leaders and nations. That's who the Board of Peace is going to be. Everybody wants to
All
be
of
on it.
them. All of the nations, but also the most important ones.
One group taking your threat seriously is one area taking your threat. The New York Post.
Oh.
I like the New York Post.
New
You
York
can
Post
keep
treats
going.
me semi-fairly.
MTG reference.
So go ahead.
Crypto.
One group
Uh-huh.
taking your threats very seriously is Greenland. Are you still thinking of military action there, or is there anything they can?
Where? Military.
Greenland.
Greenland. Is there anything they can offer you for a
What?
deal?
Not the
He's a-
politician.
He's
I'm blanking. Who are you talking about?
he,
Don't take Greenland. Russia
Black,
or
white.
China will.
no, black,
I'm not
red,
letting that
blue
happen.
deck.
If we don't
That's
take
what he would
Greenland,
be.
Russia or China
Magic
will take
together.
Greenland, and I am not going to let that happen.
Is there any deal they can offer
This
you?
is like
You're
such a
like,
beat up. I'm talking cryptic
Try and make
channel.
a deal with them. It's easier.
Really, all nations. Mostly
But one way or the
nations.
other. we're
Some
gonna take
Russian
Greenland.
nations and our
That
beloved
compromises
Chinese.
If NATO
No
effectively
worries,
ceases
buddy.
to exist in order to-
South Africa
I'm the one
for
that
South
got-
Africa
I'm
for
the
sure.
one that got him to pay
We like
5% of GDP. Wait a minute.
Not
It
the
was
black
2%, and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
What?
pull the U.S. out of NATO. Would you consider doing that?
Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. But I like NATO. You know, I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. You know, we spent a lot of money on
They
NATO,
were the only time
and I'm not sure they
we
would.
asked them to.
Now, what's happened is, as you know, Sleepy Joe Biden gave $350 billion to Ukraine.
Sleepy Joe.
And got nothing for it. I got rare earth back. I got, I think, value back far greater than that. And that's what he should have done. Now, if you look
The
at what's going on
sleepiest
with
of
respect
Joes.
to NATO, we have a very good relationship. 5% GDP, and they pay us. We send them military equipment, and they pay us back the full cost of the equipment. The war, we make money with the war, but I don't even want to
We
talk
make
about
money.
that. I want to save the lives. They're Russian and Ukrainian lives. I want to save the lives. That's the only reason I'm doing it. This is Biden's war. Should have never happened. Would have never happened if I were president.
I want
This
to come
is
and
Biden's war.
visit.
It's not Trump's war.
Arena.
All I can do is stop it.
You guys
And I think we're
gotta
making progress.
get on and talk to me. Call me.
Which would be
Call me
number
sometime.
9.25. You know what the quarter is, right? Right? Thailand and Cambodia went at it again, but I got it stopped very quickly. I consider that 1/4 of a war.
When was the last time you made a tangible offer to Greenland yet?
STL is great.
It is fun, yeah.
But Greenland should make the deal because Greenland
Wednesday
does
night,
not want to see
not on
Russia or
stream.
China take over. They don't
So I do stream on Wednesday night. Would you be down for like after my stream? I don't know if you guys are working Thursday.
go there. It's very far away
If you
from
could stay
Greenland.
up.
And Greenland, basically, their defense is too.
Oh,
Dog sleds. Do you know them? You know what their defense is?
Thursday
Dog
we're
sleds. In the meantime, you have Russian
after dinner.
destroyers and submarines, and China destroyers.
We'll try.
And
It might have
submarines all
to. It
over
might
the
have to be like, cause she's here until Saturday. So it would have to be like late Thursday this week or more reasonable Thursday next week. We'll talk. We'll work it out.
place. We're not going to let that happen.
In the meantime, are you going
And if
to...
it affects NATO, then
Okay.
it affects NATO. But, you know,
That's
they
cool.
need us much more than
That
we
sounds
need
good.
them. I will
Next
tell you that
Thursday?
right now.
Or next Wednesday.
The UK and Germany.
No, next Thursday, because I'll have to
It'll
stream.
never happen.
So next Thursday?
The UK and Germany are
I
discussing
am.
plans for a joint NATO mission
Oh, this sounds-
for tax.
Not just my guest. This is my girlfriend, guys.
Surprise.
Hey.
No.
Hell yeah, I'm super down. I'm
Ooh.
super down. Yeah, oh, there we go. Here come the reactions. Oh, shit. Yep.
Aw. 2 months tomorrow.
Nah. Ooh, honey. Should be very
That's pretty
spicy up
cute.
in here. Yep. We love it for us too.
And I love
That's
us
pretty
for you
cool.
guys as well.
Yeah, pretty great. Yeah. That Polly laugh. He's pissed. He's pissed.
Well, what anime are you thinking?
Yeah, well, anime. She would probably want to join us for it, by the way.
Well, you know. If that's what you want. That's what
I want
That's
that.
what I want.
But, and I'm sure they want it too. They're going to want to get to know you. I already
like
know.
to get to know
How's
ya,
our
so I
doggo?
can show ya.
Well, how about we get her to come and say hello, Mika? Do you want a peanut? You want a peanut? Why don't you come on over here? Come here. Come here, baby.
Yes, the bridge to somewhere great.
Can you say please? Say please. She just did a little happy girl. Oh yeah, you looking at the camera? You looking at the camera?
Whoa.
Full on Avengers Doomsday and football content for the last 3 or 4 months. Nerding out full time. Hell yeah. Great baby Arena says she loves her. Oh, I love her too. She loves her too.
She's a love.
Mwah. We love you. Hi.
She's the
She's so
goodest
good.
girl.
She loves being in the camera. It's back for the first time in 10 years today. Hey, congratulations,
Yay.
bro.
You can go places.
Mika, that's not your apple.
She wants.
That is not your apple.
Oh.
And when you guys come out to LA, you'll get to come and
LA.
spend some good time with her. LA.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gotta coordinate.
Yeah, you'll have to be here at the same time. We'll have a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
To be fair.
Mm-hmm. LA.
Oh,
Mm. Let's see what the vibes are like in LA. To be fair, I'll tell you what. You ain't never had a taco unless you had a taco in LA.
Meets me in St. Louis. Do that too.
Hi, cute. No, I haven't.
Whoa.
Teach me. Teach me, senpai.
Where's that one?
Never had a hot dog.
Girl, you gonna miss it today. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
I'm trying to get this one. I've been trying. I haven't been trying that hard.
Okay.
But she's never seen Neon Genesis. So I've been trying to make that happen.
We've got a lot of time this week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll put that on the list.
Ooh, so good.
Ooh, remote
Maybe,
watching.
hey, maybe we could do like a weekly remote watch of Neon Genesis together. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? I think it's a great plan. I'm in.
Oh, looking crap. That makes me so happy.
I'm in.
It's been a long time since I've had anime shared time.
I'm in, okay.
Words are tough.
One of the best decisions since Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. All right. I think it's drink time. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I put that on there.
Thursday nights are pretty good for us consistently. That's great because
Yay.
Thursday nights are non-stream nights for me.
Weekly anime night.
Yes. You think Jared would want to be down for that?
Potentially.
Okay.
I could broach the subject. Okay.
Or Gringo. Oops.
Meh. Meh.
Like the live action One Piece. Not your fault, and you're not weird.
Oh, wait. Oh, did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I've actually... I mean, if you
She
like
says
weird,
it all the time.
I'm weird.
Okay. Some people just don't dig the style or tropes. Yeah, but I think anime is... Oh, he was saying that's a Scarecrow. Never mind.
Yeah, I was like, did I say
And
that?
I'm a huge DBZ and Avatar fan, but I know what... DBZ is anime, my guy. Avatar is not exactly anime.
Animated. That's a nice pour, yes.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Yeah, Western
okay.
anime.
Or vape.
Vape 'em if you got 'em as well. We already did. Hell yeah. Alright, cheers, folks.
Oh, we must.
Hang on.
Gotta do it the German way. Intense eye contact. Yep,
Post. Yeah.
you understand.
Jawohl. Alright, let's get back to this fucking idiot.
Arctic
Now
Greenland. Does
that I've
that
got my
change your
drink.
calculus at all?
No, look, we're talking about acquiring, not leasing, not having it short term. We're talking about
Boo, indeed, I know.
And if we don't do it, Russia or China will, and that's not going to happen when I'm president.
Are you going to increase the amount of military bases on Greenland in the meantime?
But we have bases on Greenland. Yeah.
Are you going to do more?
We put a lot of
Insert
soldiers
Lady
there right
Boo
now,
meme.
but you need more than that. You need ownership. You really need title, as they say in the real estate business.
You need title.
Your administration has advocated for absolute
yes, that's what
immunity
happened.
for the ICE officer.
Oh, here we go.
Who shot Renee Good. How do you define absolute immunity?
This is
What does that
crazy.
mean?
This is pretty crazy.
Everyone's seen it, and the woman was very violent. She
Oh,
was,
Very
my.
violent.
very sad what happened. Her friend was very radical.
Very radical.
Go,
But
drive,
for the
drive.
officer absolute immunity, how would you define that?
Well, I'm going to let the people
She's
define
just
it, but
standing
immunity,
there.
You know what immunity means as well as I do.
Ian Trump in a ring.
Back
Let's
up your
go.
horse.
You can't be treating law
You wanna kick his
enforcement
butt?
that way, whether it's ICE or Border Patrol or our police and men and women.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that. We have, the law enforcement
Standing
in our
there
country is doing really well,
menacingly.
despite the fact that
Like, I would
Joe
get hurt.
Biden allowed
but I
people to
would-
pour through
Yeah.
an open border. Crime stats just came out. We have the best
You need to be
crime
careful.
stats on record.
Don't get
Despite
hit by
all the criminals he allowed into our country, we've gotten a lot of them out. We
there's
have
no
to
way.
respect our law enforcement.
No.
At a very
No, no,
minimum,
no, no,
that
no.
woman was
We have
very,
the best
very
crime.
disrespectful
Pinch her, make
to
sure
law
she's real.
enforcement. And you heard
I
the
have a
same
feeling-
noises. You saw the same crunch that I saw.
Yeah.
You can't do that with law enforcement, whether it's police or ICE or Border Patrol or anybody else.
When it comes to rights,
I have a
when it comes
feeling
to
like his
ICE,
gut would
Mr.
get in the
President,
way of things.
He's gotta lift. He's gotta lift it
After
up.
what he just said, like, I don't feel bad anymore. Like, if he wants to talk about it, we can.
How does he have sex with Melania? I'm curious.
They don't.
You sure?
They definitely don't.
Okay. But yeah, but then how did they have the kids?
That was a long
I mean, they
time ago.
look like him.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Bro's biggest bomb he dropped was the deuce in his pants on Air Force One.
And honestly, they probably paid
Do you
for it.
believe ICE officers should have absolute immunity?
Some,
mean, he's got the money. Just
Audio.
Pay for it.
Audio fucked.
Generally speaking, I mean, these people have been harassed and threatened every day. They had bands out playing so they couldn't sleep at the hotel. I see what they're doing to them. They're threatening them constantly. And all they're doing is doing what I got elected on. We had millions of people that came into a country that are horrible people that shouldn't be in our country. They're
You
murderers, they're
shouldn't be
drug
in our
dealers.
country.
They're people from mental institutions. They're the criminally insane.
Alligator
They're
River.
people from prisons. They were allowed to come into our
Alcatraz.
country because Biden
Wherever
was
the alligators
a
are.
stupid person, and the people surrounding him, very smart, very vicious, but they have no common sense, and they're radicalized
Like a
people.
stand-in
They're
for Millie
radical
Bobby
left
Brown
people,
on
not
the first
radical
season of
right.
Stranger
They're
Things.
radical left people, and all they're doing is what I campaigned on. I won in a landslide.
Oh, actually.
We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote. We won the districts. We won everything. We won the counties. We won the counties by 79%, I believe. I campaigned on the Great Border, and now we have
The Great Border.
But Biden let
We have a lovely border, let me tell you. It's golden crusted, okay? It's a beautiful border. Nobody has a border like our border.
25 million people come into this country, and many of those people are criminals, including 11,888 murderers. And we want them out. And I won on that. Now people don't talk about it because the border is so secure. Nobody wants to talk about it anymore. The border was one of the reasons I won the election. I've done such a good job on it.
'Cause they don't
Nobody
actually
wants
care.
to talk about it anymore. The border is totally secure. And now the crime stats just came out, and they're the best numbers since they were taken, and that's like 50 years ago. We have the
How
best
can
crime
we know we can trust
despite
it though,
the fact
dude?
that a lot of criminals were allowed into our
You
country.
fired all the people
We
who
have
were
to
there
respect
doing the
our
stats.
law enforcement.
Sir, do you believe that deadly force was necessary after watching all the footage a few days have passed? What's your assessment there?
It was
We watched
highly
it back on
disrespectful
YouTube
of
tonight.
law
Okay, well feel
The
free to
woman
chime
and
in
her
whenever you
friend
want. If you
were
guys feel
highly
like jumping
disrespectful
into
of
the
law
Discord and saying hi,
enforcement. So that
you're always
they were harassing
welcome.
them
I'm
for
excited for
hours,
anime nights.
days
Oh,
and for hours.
Miss you
And
guys.
I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out
Yeah,
who's paying
you
for it.
guys have fun.
With their brand new
Yeah, you
signs
guys
and
have
all the
fun.
different
Yeah,
things.
fun
But these are
night.
professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other
Oh.
friends
Now,
were
I
doing
love you
to
guys. You're
law
amazing.
enforcement, not just
Subscribe
ICE.
or
So
gifted.
sweet.
Law enforcement is outrageous.
Do ICE officials need more?
You guys feel free to subscribe whenever you want to as well.
I'm going to be making it to Detroit to talk about our unbelievable amount of factories that are opening up all over the country, many of which are car factories.
Federal
and car
government is
plants.
going. Federal
Yeah,
government is going full
manufacturing plants
retard,
opening up
man.
at levels that
Never
nobody's
go
ever
full
seen before
retard.
because of tariffs.
Oh, gifted a subscription.
Oh.
So sweet.
Although they were very happy with
Oh
the
my
November 5th
gosh.
election.
Look at you.
We
Look
have-
at that.
Look at
Scarecrow
y'all.
got us
Coming from
free
Mexico, they're
subscription
coming
from
Germany,
Grumpy
from
Coast. How
Japan,
nice.
all over
So
Europe
sweet.
and from Japan.
So nice.
The sweetest.
And
Claps
China,
in chat
opening up
for Grumpy
car
Coast. What a
factories,
G.
car
Thank you,
manufacturing
Jordan's
plants
World's
at
pretty
levels that
awesome.
we've never seen before. So I'm going to Detroit because they're going to be opening up
Pleasure to
plants
meet
in
ya,
Detroit.
darling.
They're redoing
Nice. Y'all are
plants,
the
but they're
best.
really ripping down old plants and building new. We are going to be, we're the hottest country right now
You've already
anywhere in
met
the
Oh, I
world.
trust you.
You've
Anybody
met-
you say is
A
great.
year and a half
You've met
ago,
Grumpy
we were a
Coast a
dead
little
country,
bit.
I already love
and now we're the
everybody.
hottest
He's awesome.
country
Arena's super
anywhere
awesome.
in
Oh my
the
god, the
world.
two of you are gonna get along so well.
Look, I'm your friend already.
I might, yeah, I might.
Sir, do you have any information about the suspicious object that was found at Palm Beach International Airport a few days ago?
I know nothing about it.
Okay, and back on
I've
Iran,
never heard of
the
it. Did it
IRL
touch any kids?
thinks that the protesters are trying to quote please you. Do you see it that way? What's your message to the Iranian people?
I don't know that they're trying to please me. They named a boulevard after me, but that's pretty pleasing. But I don't think they're trying to please. I think they just want peace. They want to have freedom. The protesters are after freedom.
Hell yeah.
Iran has not allowed freedom for a long time. And the protesters, I don't think they're trying to appease me. They're trying to get somebody to help them. They're under siege. And now it looks like they're being shot, which is a very bad thing.
Thanks for clarifying.
Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Tell the people how to think.
You're going to find out pretty soon. Yeah, go ahead. With the beautiful red hair.
Oh my.
I've seen pieces of it. It's incredible.
She's like, I'm dyeing my hair tonight.
I think it's going to do. You know, she did a book, and the book was
All
a
agree
big
that
number
Trump
one bestseller.
investigated
And
process in Iran.
it's a
I don't know
movie.
if they did.
And it seems to be
like,
captivating
I
a
know.
lot of people's
He was
attention.
I haven't heard about that part, Carl.
Because here we go again. Yeah, it's going to be doing the premiere at the Trump Kennedy Center. It'll be very exciting. It's a very hard ticket, I can tell you. Everybody, Wayne Gretzky and his wife Janet, beautiful wife, great wife. They said last night, gee, I want to go to everybody wants tickets to the
Just talking
premiere.
about them. I mean, I
It's
don't.
gonna
So
be great.
my understanding, yeah, but my understanding is that the revolution or I don't know about revolution, but the unrest in Iran right now has a lot to do with the economic situation. Like they're going through massive inflation, big crash in the economy, and that's what's leading to people to the unrest.
On the what? Mortgage?
You ever talk about the radical
Wayne Gretzky
right?
was
They're already
very
done. They started the process. And it's having a great impact.
Hey, let's
Interest
not
rates-
talk shit about the goat, okay, Cinderella? Gretzky.
Are falling very rapidly. Not only for that reason, for other reasons too, but interest rates are falling very rapidly. With no help from the Fed.
He had to say that.
We have a total stiff at the Fed.
Why?
Yeah.
Hi, Wayne.
Well, then they're in violation of the law. Very
Oh,
severe
the law
things. No, I want a
matters
cap
again.
on credit card interest rates. Because, you know, some of them are 28, almost 30%. And that, people don't know they're paying 30%. The people out there, you know, they're working, and they have no idea that they're paying 30%. No way.
They
We're
have no
putting a
idea.
one-year cap at 10%, and that's it. They know it. They've really abused the public.
Yeah, but like, how are you
Totally
going to enforce that? Doesn't have to be
abused it. I'm not going to let it
passed.
happen.
I mean, that
Not
would
gonna
be
let
interesting.
it happen, even letting it happen.
With Iran,
Yeah, do you think they want to engage diplomatically with you?
they do.
Abused
They
for
called
decades.
They called you?
Yesterday, Iran called to negotiate. Yesterday, and the leaders of Iran called. They want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Iran wants to
That was a
negotiate.
Biden.
We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up, but we may have to act
Yeah, the
because
leaders
of what's
of Iran.
happening before the meeting. But a meeting is being set up. Iran called. They want to negotiate. Thank you very much, everybody.
What are you going to do with
Be
East?
careful. A lot of bumps.
What's your plan for East Potomac? Are you going to renovate the golf course? Are you
Yeah, we're going to make it a beautiful world-class U.S. Open caliber course, and
How about
ideally we're
feed
going to have
the
major
poor
tournaments and
fucker?
everything else. It's going to bring a lot of business into Washington. By the way, the crime
He doesn't
stats
wanna
just
hear
came
about
out on
football.
Washington, D.C. and there is virtually no crime. It's gone from tremendous crime, murder, and everything else. There's virtually no crime in Washington, D.C. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh my God, bro.
We have never had a more narcissistic
Shut the fuck
president.
up,
Like,
dude.
it's not possible.
All right, let's see what Jerome Powell.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation.
I love it. I love it.
I have
because Powell was never going to be somebody who like bent to Trump's bullshit. Never.
Served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike.
Yeah, we needed
In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats.
Hell yeah.
I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
Fuck yeah. What a based fucking king, dude. What an absolute king.
You can see it now.
Oh. That's some Chad behavior right there. Alright, let's see. What do we got? What's for watchings? We are Jerome Powell. Dude, this is such a big, like, moment. I really, really hope that he keeps this going. Let's see. What do we want to look at next? See if there's new tiny stuff. Somebody with a 3D recreation of the shooting to show positions. Can you find that? For when Sleepy Joe is here. Sleepy, are you here, bud?
Haven't heard of that one.
Which one?
3D recreation.
Yeah, I haven't either. Because now I kind of
Nice.
want to see it.
Yeah. Thanks, barcode. I was hoping someone had something.
Alright. Hit me with it.
Hit me with your best shot.
Fire away. Top bottom, bottom, bottom.
You need the hum. Where you're saying moments. Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Keep thoughts. You can keep it. Mika's had enough. She's like, you don't have any more apple for me?
Mika.
Oh. What is it now? You have some tribute for me? Here, let's see.
She's like, I'll take a peanut.
Don't judge me. We can do the jams too.
The jams, yeah, jams will be a little bit later. Open link in new tab. Gun pointed at driver. Bro. Yeah, look. First shot.
I just can't.
Fucking God!
Yep. Looks about right. Looks about right. Yep, this is a new thing too. Minnesota suing the government over the surge of ICE people. Oh.
An ICE agent shoots and kills a woman in Minneapolis, and the Trump
Let's see about
administration
this.
says they are defensive shots. We've got our initial thoughts on this case. Stay tuned. This is attorneys Andy Marcantel and Mark J. Victor. We're the partners of the Attorneys for Freedom law firm, here today to talk about the case everybody's talking about. How's it going, Mark?
Yeah, this is an ugly one. You hope stuff like this doesn't happen, but it does. It comes up, and you got to deal with it. And you know, we've seen the same video everyone else has seen. We haven't seen detailed reports. These are just sort of initial impressions, just from having watched it a few times. What are your thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, and you know, we are a law firm that does nothing but self-defense cases. So when these high-profile cases come out and one party or the other is claiming self-defense, our followers naturally start asking us to comment on it. So this is kind of what I think the kids are calling a hot take today. That is, we have the limited amount of information that has come out, and we have some initial thoughts. So let's start first with kind of the situation that this transpires under. We have ICE running operations there, and there's some protesters out there. There's some videos of them saying, go back to Texas, ICE agents. I guess they're from Texas, or all ICE agents are from Texas. But there's a lot of people walking around the vehicles and talking and everything like that. And the woman is driving an SUV. The woman who's ultimately shot, driving an SUV. The ICE agents are conducting operations and are at least alleging that she was blocking their operations or she was obstructing their operations in some way. So they approach her vehicle in order to get her to exit the vehicle so they can confront her about it. They thought that it was an intentional obstruction, which of course would be a crime.
Yeah, I think it's probably fair to assert that she was detained at the time, right? Somebody said, get out of the car. I think you can take from that you're not free to leave. You're ordered to get out of the car. We don't talk a lot about traffic stops, but if you are subject to a traffic stop, that's right. The officers generally have a right to tell you, get out of the car, and you have to get out of the car. That goes for most passengers, people in the back seat as well, in most places. So she had a legal obligation to get out of the car. She didn't get out of the car. You can see the ICE agents trying to pull the door. Does that give the ICE agent a reason to shoot her by itself? Absolutely not.
No, but it is relevant. And certainly if the guy's charged with a crime, the defense attorney will bring it up as a relevant factor to his mental state at the time that he pulled the trigger. Is he dealing with a law-abiding citizen who's making every effort to obey lawful commands, or is he dealing with somebody who's flagrantly violating a lawful command given by an ICE agent? So that's what the defense attorney is going to claim.
But I think you can strip a lot of this out. Forget that it's ICE. Forget this lady doesn't like ICE. The same old question.
Right.
I mean, that's a good question. I was looking that up, and it's not super clear to me, Grumpy. I don't know if they have the ability to do that like the same way local police do. My understanding is they have the jurisdiction to enforce immigration policy, so I'm not sure. I don't really know. They seem to be acting as though they do, though. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
Apply. Is this ICE agent at the time he discharged his firearm? Does he reasonably believe that he was facing an imminent threat of death or serious physical injury? The argument is that, well, yes, because this woman was trying to run him over with a vehicle. And from what I can see, it's a big point to the people who think that this is not a justified shoot to note that the front tires are clearly turned. It doesn't look like the driver of the vehicle is intentionally trying to run the officer over. But that's not the question. The question is, what did the officer reasonably believe?
Yeah.
If the officer says, I looked and I saw the
He didn't
front
want them
tires
to
were
get
turned
away.
and it was clear to me she wasn't trying to run me over, okay, wrong answer. That's a guilty. He's likely going to say, I wasn't looking at the tires. I was looking at the woman who I thought was going to run me over. So he's got a reasonable mistake of fact. And as we know, because we've talked about this a lot, reasonable mistake of fact is perfectly fine.
Full defense.
Full defense if that itself would justify the act of self-defense.
Yeah, so let me go over a few guiding principles here. Just quickly knock a few things out. Number one, a vehicle in this jurisdiction, when driven recklessly or dangerously, is treated exactly the same as a dangerous weapon. In other words, if somebody is driving a car at you, they might as well be pointing a firearm at you in terms of proportionality of how you're allowed to respond. Number two, he has to justify each one of the shots in this case. Now, there are 3 shots that are fired. And once again, in
None
our
of
hot
them were
take video today,
necessary
we're
to
not
stop
sure
getting ran
if the
over.
analysis, the forensics has been done at this point to
We're waiting
determine
on the
which one of those
analysis.
3 bullets actually caused the death in this case. That's going to end up being relevant.
could be really
As
important,
nitpicky as that sounds, that's going to end up being relevant. But he's going to be charged potentially for each one of those rounds that came out of his firearm. And so we are going to analyze them separately.
Yeah, so let's talk about the first round. The first round, it looks to me like he's standing in front of the vehicle. It looks to me like he reasonably believed, whether he was correct or not, he reasonably believed that she was attempting to run him down. His best argument here is, I thought she was trying to run me down, therefore I pulled my firearm. I was at an imminent
you can
risk
hear
of
the
death
partner
or serious
yell,
physical
like,
injury.
"Let's go,
That's why I
let's leave."
discharged that round. He may have a very good argument, at least as to the first shot.
First shot looks very defensible
Very
to me. He is.
defensible.
You can see in the angles that are publicly available that he is standing not full-blown center in front of the hood of the vehicle, but definitely in front of the hood of the vehicle. What does he know at the time? He knows that this person is committing a crime, is not complying with officers, and instead of getting out of the vehicle as demanded, has just hit the gas. And whether she peels out, you can actually see from how fast the wheels spin. You know, this isn't a turbocharged SUV, but it certainly pedaled to the metal
clearly
with the
just trying to
size
get
of this vehicle and how it pulls out of there. So I
But
think he has a
in the moment,
reasonable
as the
belief at that
officer,
point that
From this view, he might not be able to see the wheels, right? So he may think it's coming straight at him.
But he heard the partner, and he was already angry because the person insulted him.
Yeah,
It's
it could.
clear.
It could. I mean, like it could be. But the thing is, like you do have to consider all of those facts when you're rendering a judgment
Yeah.
on a charge.
But once you're out of
She's
the
trying to
way,
run.
why are you shooting people?
So the second and third shots. So it depends on where that first shot happened, because it looked to me like the first shot happened while he was already somewhat out of the way.
Jeez.
And to me, that does make a big difference, right? Then the second and third shots are very difficult to defend, honestly. I don't... Unless, like, somehow they say it was a second or third shot that neutralized her, but still, like...
Did he shoot before she was out of the way? Like, he was blocking them and then shot? I
He
don't know.
shot as she was driving around. But it looked to me like the first shot happened while he was already towards the side of the vehicle.
Yeah, he's going to claim, it was clear to me she didn't like ICE agents, and she didn't like me. And so he's going to be, I think, pretty good from that first shot. It's the other shots that concern me quite a bit. Now, if he's not a police officer, right, to me, the second, at least the third, it looked like there were 3 shots. Maybe the evidence will come down a little differently. But at least one of those, the last one, looked to me like he was not in danger of being hit by that vehicle.
In fact, it looks like he's completely perpendicular to the vehicle at that point, kind of pointing into the vehicle, totally out of the way of its path, but still firing into the glass.
Yeah, now you're going to have a hard time, I think, making an argument, at least as to that final shot. Is that the lethal shot? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
I
Maybe
didn't
the
know
evidence
they'd have
will
to
clear that up.
justify
Maybe it
every single
won't.
shot. That's
but
very
that
interesting.
shot right there, I think you're going to have a really hard time saying at the time that officer fired that last shot, at that moment, not because of what happened earlier, at that moment, he was in an imminent fear of death or serious physical injury. But If I'm the defense attorney on that case, I'm bringing a completely different argument.
Yeah, there are different principles that allow an officer to actually use deadly physical force even when their own life isn't in danger. And there is a principle called the dangerous fleeing felony rule, which basically means that
but I
if
don't
the officer
think
had a
this-
reasonable belief that this was a dangerous fleeing
Sure.
felon
This
at the
doesn't
time,
make
they're allowed to
sense,
use
I
deadly
don't
physical
think,
force.
in
Now,
this
what
No.
makes
case.
somebody a dangerous fleeing
That's
felon?
not it,
This is the
yeah.
type of things that lawyers argue about. But if I was the defense attorney for the ICE agent, if he was ultimately
would be
charged
your
with murder
argument.
for this, I would be arguing
to
that the fact
justify
that there were all
murdering
these
someone.
protesters walking
Right, but
around and there were lots
You
of
got to
people.
keep in mind, they are lawyers, they're attorneys. They are looking at this purely from the perspective of, okay, if I was the defense attorney for this guy, this is the argument that I would be bringing, because this would be the best argument that I have available to me. An attorney can't just be like, no, you're fucked. They have to do their job. It's the law. It's
Yeah,
the
I
Constitution.
still don't see how it was dangerous because you can hear the partners say like, "Let's get out of here." They're just trying.
No,
to
like
leave.
I understand that, but
They said we have the same license plate. You can, like we're not just gonna change it.
I know, but when we're talking about the law, we're talking about the law, right? And there's like procedures and processes, and they're talking about the analysis of, okay, if I was the defense attorney of this guy,
Right.
this is the argument I'm going to make, and here's why this is the argument
But
that
they're
I'm
not.
going to make.
But they're not the police. Like, isn't that just they deal with persons who are illegal? Unfortunately, like.
I mean, that doesn't really matter when you're talking about like criminal case necessarily. They have, like, if they're talking purely about self-defense, this isn't even about qualified immunity, right? They're just talking about pure self-defense case. They're not even talking about the police aspect right now.
So he shot like before she drove straight.
They are saying that the argument you would make, because they said it does look clear that she had turned her wheel, right? But the argument you would make as his defense attorney is that from his perspective, he couldn't see that the wheel was turned. I think that's a difficult argument to make because you can see her turn the wheel from inside the car, but at the same time, you might not be able to see if her wheels were turned like to the side and then she turned them straight again. Like, there's, when it comes to the law, right, you have to do beyond a reasonable doubt that he specifically murdered her.
I would be
right?
thinking to get out of the way, not shoot someone though. I don't know. That's just me.
I know, but
If that was my
no,
job, but
I agree, but you never know what's going to go through someone's head when they're in this kind of situation.
Civilians that were in close proximity to the car. What do we know about this woman? We know she's being non-compliant with lawful orders. We know she just tore out of there, and that she might be heading towards somebody that the officer saw, or just generally
Sure
around the
you do as an
protesters.
ICE
That
agent.
might be the argument.
Yeah, if you can make the argument that that first shot was justified, right? The first shot is justified. Okay, now you got her committing aggravated assault against an officer, maybe attempted murder on an officer, and now she's trying to flee. So you got the argument that now those other shots that look completely unjustified as a self-defense might be justified as intending to stop a dangerous fleeing felon, because you sort of bootstrap this argument with the first shot. So that's probably the best argument here. But if you're going to try to make that final shot a justified shot based on self-defense, I think you got a really tough argument.
Well, he agrees, I think, Barcode. Yeah, I think he agrees that's a really bad argument. But that's the best they got when you're talking about the second and definitely the third shot.
they're fucked.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough claim that she's a
But then
dangerous
again-
fleeing felon at that
Yeah,
point. I've seen a
see?
lot of different angles of this particular incident, and it's not clear to me that there are people in her direct path or
I'm sure
direct
they'll find a way
proximity.
to justify
This is
it.
going to be a very factually intense question that the lawyers are going to certainly argue over. There are theories on both sides. One thing is for sure, Mark, I completely disagree with the Trump administration's characterization of this. Kristi Noem came out and said, oh, yes, he was defending himself because she was intending to kill him. She tried to kill him with the vehicle. And President Trump posted on his social media that she ran him over. I didn't see that in the video at all. No, it looks to me like she was trying to get away illegally, to be clear. She was very illegally disobeying lawful orders from federal agents, but it looked like she was trying to get away.
Yeah.
And it
Am I
looked
an
like at
iPhone
least...
guy? Yeah. Why? What's up?
You need some help?
This was shot number
So I would Google for use Gemini for Siri. I thought that was like, I thought they announced that a little while ago.
one.
Like a few weeks ago.
The agent had a good faith belief
But yeah, I
that
did
she
hear
was
that.
trying to be violent.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think the officer's
Google.
good faith, reasonable
Google
belief
AI
that
now
he
from
thought,
Siri.
notwithstanding the fact that she
Yeah,
might
it'll get
actually
so
have been
much better.
trying to get
Siri
away,
sucked.
he thought she was trying to run him over. I can
Which
buy-
is sad because it used to be like the trailblazer for all this stuff, but they have ChatGPT. They do. But I think they're going to use Gemini for like some of the other stuff. Because ChatGPT is only like looking stuff up and answering questions. They're going to use Gemini for like all of the other like functions you can do with it, right? Like more integrated with the different stuff that you'd use it for like photo generation and that kind of stuff, which is kind of shitty on iPhones. So it's just way more capable and better designed for like the phone usage and being a phone assistant.
By that.
Yeah.
It's the shots after that give me a little bit of heartburn if I'm defending this case.
The-
Maybe a lot of heartburn if I'm defending this case.
Those are going to be the tough ones to defend. And right now, if he's already retained defense counsel, which I assume that he's been given a defense counsel by ICE or that he's retained a defense counsel, that defense counsel is praying right now that it was the first bullet, that the forensics suggest that it's the first bullet that took her life, because that is most clearly the one that is justified.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting case going forward. Let's see if there are even charges here. And picking a jury is going to be fun on this one. Are you Republican or are you
Yeah,
Democrat?
that's pretty much where it
How do you
splits.
feel about ICE? So that's going to be a fun jury selection process.
I am so glad that we are immune to that dichotomy
Awesome.
because you and I like to call it like we see it. We don't much care for the blind allegiance to the R's and the D's when it comes to legal analysis. You got to call balls and strikes.
Yep, and that's how it looks to us right now based on our initial viewing of the videos that we saw like everybody else saw.
Interesting.
Let's wait and see how the evidence comes in. Maybe our opinions will change based on new evidence, so stay tuned.
Yeah, if there's good stuff that follows
Interesting
up, then we will
analysis.
definitely do a follow-up video. So what do you guys think? Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong?
I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but
Shot by shot basis.
it seems like as good analysis as any, I think, at this point.
I should ask my lawyer friend.
Yeah. What's this? What you got?
All right, we're
Pons,
back.
then?
Hi, John.
Hi.
In the wake of the killing in Minneapolis and the administration basically doubling down on their operations in Minneapolis and St. Paul, there was a ton of chaos over the weekend. I think it's worth taking people through what people are seeing there. I want to start with a video out of a gas station in St. Paul.
What legal evil says. Yo, what the fuck? This is fucking ridiculous, man.
Stay back, stay back.
This is crazy. U.S. Border Patrol in fucking Minneapolis, dude. Is that paintball? No, those are pepper balls.
So there's two pieces of that video. First, you have basically someone filming ICE agents. Clearly, the agents are getting angrier and angrier. And he just lunges at this guy and then chases him. And they all come in to chase him and throw him in a car. They release that guy later that night. We also included the second part of
course
that
they did.
because what you see is in the chaos of these moments, you have a person in a car being directed to leave, but there's agents all around the car. And like, put yourself in that situation. And you're being told to move.
Actually,
They're
used
right
to
next
just
to your
wear
car.
jeans, and
You're
now they're
looking
decked out like
around. There's people
commandos.
all around. You're afraid you're going to do the wrong thing. You know somebody was
Well, they hired all
shot,
those people. They had to buy
and
the equipment
is now
and
being
wait for it to
accused of
actually get
being a
in the
domestic
mail.
terrorist because after dropping their
Then
child
it's
off at
identified
school,
now.
They were just
was
sending
clearly
them
trying to
out
get
there
around
anyway.
somebody in a similar
I'm glad.
circumstance. What did you think?
I mean, first of all, you're allowed to film ICE agents. It is completely legal. The administration has basically now
Hey,
called that,
that's
and
not the
ICE has
guy
called
from
that like
Iron
a
Man.
threat. It's threatening, but it's not.
they
The
can't
fact that they
afford
released
body
the guy, the
cams.
first guy,
I know,
shows
it's
that they
fucking
couldn't have charged him with anything, so he didn't commit any crime. So basically what they did is they just assaulted him.
Yeah.
So federal law enforcement just decided to assault an individual who was filming them. And also, there's like 8 of them. You need that many agents? I mean, the whole fucking thing is absurd. That we are somehow, and this goes back to like what everyone was doing last week, that we're like parsing the different angles of the, and I get that, I did it myself too, but like the whole thing is fucking absurd. There's no need for this many ICE agents. They're not doing targeted enforcement operations. They are going after people. They are basically delegitimizing the very idea of protest. And of course, the second part about the person that was in the car, this is what happens all the time when people are in car. They get conflicting orders from ICE. And I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if ICE is just not coordinating with each other, which certainly seems possible as well. But I said, George Redis, that happened to him. There were early reports that it happened to Renee Good. Unclear if it did, but certainly in that situation, it wasn't get out of the car, it was go. So like, what are you supposed to do if you're in a car and you find yourself surrounded by a bunch of ICE agents?
Yeah, ICE agents who are like radicalizing before our eyes, who are clearly angry, and there's adrenaline. Like the moment where that person, like where the agent like lunges at the camera, he's just angry. He's angry. He's sick of being filmed, sick of having a camera in his face. There's so many of them, and
That's my
this is
thing.
what
It's
happens
like,
once the.
I feel like you're gonna send all these people out. They're gonna be in these crazy situations. You really gotta be training these people to have like good anger management and situational awareness. Like I've seen so many cops do such a good job of just staying calm when people are screaming in their faces. Mm-hmm. SWAT team members just staying calm and ignoring people when they're screaming in their faces. But all these fucking ICE morons, it's like none of them are able to control their temper because they're just some fucking retard from Alabama that was like, yo, I'll go work for ICE. They're going to pay me all this money.
The other agents see their officer now in some kind of a confrontation. They have to jump in, and it's just all very escalatory. There's a video floating around of Bovino going into a bathroom at a Target to take a piss, and he's just surrounded by agents. They phalanx him like he's in like a hostile war zone. And all of this just raises tension. Like these are people now. They are now going into these places.
Have
people
I seen
are
the recruitment videos? I might have like a couple here and there, but like like if you want to send that, we'll take a look.
Shouting at them, rightfully so, that they don't want them in their communities, and all of it is just a powder keg. And here and there we are seeing what happens. Let's go to the next one.
See you in a second.
This is somebody being kind of threatened while very calmly in their car, and I do think it's worth watching the details of what it was like for this person.
Jeez, dude.
Sir, this is your warning. This is your warning.
For what?
Stop fucking following us. You are impeding operations. This is the United States federal
I live
government.
over here. I gotta get to my house.
This is your warning.
Gotta get to
All
my
right?
house.
Go home to your kids.
Go to church.
Go to home to your kids. This is your last warning.
I serve the Lord.
I will arrest you.
What a fucking nut, dude.
Go to church. Let people let
I
the
guarantee
people.
you that. I guarantee you're not gonna like the outcome. Go home.
Bro,
to your
let him
children.
go home. What
It's
the
Sunday.
fuck?
Yeah, go
It is
exactly.
Sunday.
Let people go to
You
church.
did not learn from what just happened. Go home. To
Learn
your
what?
kids.
He's
So,
always there.
He says,
you
"Did you not
fucking
learn
idiot."
from what just happened?" And
It's the second video I've seen
Yes.
where someone says, "Didn't you learn?"
Did you not
learn what?
from what just
If I don't
happened?
listen to you and stop exercising my First Amendment rights, my right to just be a person in my own community, you're gonna kill me? That's the lesson. And if you see this person is being told to stop, go home to your children, stop following us. Now they're starting to claim that like just following them to observe them is impeding. They're claiming that's now a violation of law. There's a person with a gun drawn on the other side of the car. Why is the gun out? And the other part of this is what you're seeing more and more too is the agents are all filming. They don't have body cams, or they're claiming they don't use the body cams. Some of them may, some of them not. I don't know. But they're not releasing body cams, but they are filming.
It's the fucking
And
prison
so now you have a bunch
experiment.
of what agents that are now all going to have their phones in one hand and their guns in the other, presumably, right? Because instead of having body cams that will record everything objectively to release. They will release subjectively whatever they fucking want from the phones. We also have no idea what they're using for facial recognition and all those other things, which, you know, go from sounding conspiratorial to seem obviously what is happening. But now they're now saying, learn the lesson of what happened, which is if you don't follow an unlawful order, if you seem at all like you're annoying us, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, they're using two sort of like broad legal standards, which is impeding law enforcement operation and
stalking and
using a vehicle as a deadly weapon, right? Which is, so if you're in a car, any move you make in the car that they don't like, they can say, oh, you've weaponized your vehicle. And if you're around ICE and you're protesting, or even if you're not protesting, even if you just happen upon them, they'll just say that anything you do that's annoying to them is impeding their investigation or impeding their enforcement operation. So they can make that case if they want. It's not like it's a real legal case. Like of course they can say that anyone's impeding their investigation or impeding a law enforcement operation, but like that doesn't mean it's true.
And also, all of this is a threat. Inevitably, if they were actually to follow this to its conclusion, obviously they are threatening you that that you could be hurt, that you'll never get to that point, and they're dropping lots of charges if they were to bring something like that. But then at some point, some judge would say, "What was impeded?"
I don't know if you heard the Daily had an interview this morning with the chief of police in Minneapolis, and this is a guy who came in right after George Floyd and basically had to like rebuild the whole Minneapolis police department because most of them left, and has really focused on like de-escalation. He's getting interviewed about this and so like, what did you think about the ICE officers? He's like, well, first of all, like it's basic training to never put yourself in front of a car like that. It's also like even more important than that, the training is to de-escalate in every situation possible because you want to build trust with the community. And so whenever possible, you want to de-escalate and you want to go up to someone and say, name, registration, could you please step out? This is why I'm pulling you over. This is, and you do that. And then if someone asks you a question that's, even somewhat reasonable, you answer the question. And none of this is happening with ICE. None of that. And because they don't want to de-escalate.
Well, they don't want to de-escalate. And it's so much about dominance, right? They're not actually like they have so internalized this idea that they are like on a righteous crusade against like a left and kind of anti-American, pro undocumented immigrant sort of group of like rabble rousers that they are now like they are like pilgrims in an unholy land, which is Minneapolis, Minnesota. I spend a lot of time now in Minneapolis. My fiance is from Minneapolis. Like it was hitting me today when I was just looking at all of this because people from Minneapolis, they love this place. It is a special place. It is a kind place. It's never been like, you could have watched Fox News for the last 20 years. They've not spent a lot of time up until they started villainizing Somali immigrants, saying that
George Floyd.
And George Floyd. But like that Minneapolis is not like on the top 10 list of right-wing. It's San Francisco, New York, right? Like LA.
Bro, Jon Favreau and John Lovett. Isn't that funny? Two people with literal celebrity names, but they're not the celebrities.
Like Minneapolis is just, it's never been the focus of national attention in this kind of a prolonged way. Like it just isn't that, it just, it's a place that seems like outside or like kind of, sort of not subject to this kind of internecine like vitriol, right? It's just it's Minneapolis. It's like sweet, calm Minneapolis, and they've now sent 2,000 more people. There's now 2 or 3 times as many ICE agents in Minneapolis as there are police officers.
Yep. The other thing is if it was really about enforcement and you were really just trying to target undocumented immigrants who committed crimes or you think are a danger to the community or just people that you want that are deportable. You don't announce that you're coming and that you're bringing thousands of, federal agents, because that also.
I'm a little bored with this. I kind of want to see what legal he wants.
You've probably seen by now. On Wednesday, January 7th, ICE agent Jonathan Ross shot and killed a motorist during an immigration-related operation in Minneapolis. The victim, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, a U.S. citizen and mother of 3, became involved or sought to legally observe the proceedings after dropping off her 6-year-old son at school that morning. She was shot in the head in the front seat of her car. The incident took place shortly after the Trump administration escalated immigration enforcement operations in Minnesota by deploying thousands of agents in the state. Diametrically opposed narratives have emerged over what led to the shooting, with the administration uniformly defending the agent's deadly use of force and seemingly everyone else saying he was 100% guilty of murder. Not surprisingly, it depends. But just hours after the shooting, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security issued a statement blaming Ms. Good for the confrontation, characterizing the fatal shooting as an act of lawful self-defense. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told reporters that
when a mob of agitators that were harassing them all day began blocking them in, shouting at them, and impeding law enforcement operations. ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism.
President Trump echoed these conclusions, insisting Ms. Good, quote, viciously ran over the ICE officer, justifying the fatal confrontation. And as Vice President Vance has so eloquently put it, but videos posted online and witness accounts appear to contradict the official narrative. The reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car. As we'll talk about in some depth, analyzed from multiple angles, the video footage seems to show Ms. Good's car attempts to back away from officers surrounding her car and trying to force entry, and then lurch forward in an ill-fated attempt to escape confrontation. Mayor Frey has aggressively pushed back on DHS's version of events.
To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
And now, as the country reels in the aftermath of the shooting, Minnesota investigators say that they have to withdraw a probe into the deadly use of force after being denied access to evidence by the FBI. Now, in a non-dystopian universe, the Justice Department would launch a comprehensive, non-biased investigation into the matter and, depending on the outcome, bring federal charges against the ICE agent who killed Ms. Good. But right now, it's safe to assume the Trump-controlled DOJ will take no such legal action. Which raises the question, is Mr. Ross guilty of any crimes, and is there any feasible recourse to hold the agent liable for the death of Ms. Good? Now, the fatal incident took place shortly after 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday in a residential neighborhood south of downtown Minneapolis, about a mile from where police killed George Floyd in 2020. A frame-by-frame analysis of bystander video footage raises serious questions about the administration's narrative that Agent Ross was forced to fire defensive shots to protect the life of himself and others. Video taken by a witness shows Ms. Good's vehicle, a burgundy Honda Pilot SUV, stopped in the middle of a one-way road, its engine idling. And we're now starting to see more videos from the moments leading up to the shooting. It appears that the SUV was initially parked on the side of the road and was only in the middle of the road for a relatively short amount of time before the incident began. The video taken from Mr. Ross's own cell phone shows him filming the vehicle trying to apparently record the license plate of the SUV. Good's wife, Becca, was also using her phone to film him. She says,
It's okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later.
And eventually Good herself says, it's okay, dude, I'm not mad at you.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
And those were apparently her last words. Although bystanders were yelling at the federal agents and blowing whistles, it does not appear that Ms. Good was engaged in that behavior.
Go home to Texas!
You can see federal vehicles start to approach Ms. Good's SUV with lights flashing and sirens blaring. Agent Ross can be seen approaching from behind the SUV and crossing the SUV's right-hand side, all while filming the scene on his cell phone. In the crucial moments before the shooting, Ms. Good rolls her SUV slightly forward into the street, then stops and waves at other motorists to go ahead of her. 2 agents are seen exiting a silver pickup and approaching the SUV, telling Good to... The SUV backs up, then veers forward to the right. Seconds later, gunfire erupts. Re-examining the scene from a closer vantage point, we see Agent Ross walk around the car while filming on his cell phone, disappearing from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to get out of the car. But it's not clear who exactly those agents were or whether the driver could hear them. But it's clear one of the agents grabs the car's door handle and reaches inside, but is unsuccessful in forcing the door open. Almost simultaneously, you can see the SUV backing up and turning right in an apparent attempt to leave using a 2-point turn. At the same time, Agent Ross crosses towards the left side of the vehicle and grabs his gun with his right hand. To me, it looks like he unholsters his weapon before the car is moving forward. He opens fire on Ms. Good and continues shooting as she drives past him. At no point does Agent Ross appear to drop the cell phone carried in his left hand, and that's bolstered by the footage he took on that cell phone continuously during the shooting.
Right.
We'll talk.
He didn't even fucking drop the phone. Homeboy's so scared, got hit so fucking hard, the cell phone stayed in his fucking hand.
About in a second. Looking more closely at the moment Agent Ross fires, he appears to be standing to camera left of the SUV while the SUV's tires are pointed all the way to the right away from him. And things are happening fast, and it's not clear if Mr. Ross is in front of or partially in front of the car at the time that the first shot is fired, but it does appear clear that by the time the second and possibly third shots are fired, he is fully to the side of the vehicle. Reports are that the second and third shots were fired through the open driver's side window. It's unknown at this time which of the shots made contact or were fatal. This contradicts the administration's allegations that Ms. Good was running him over or attempting to run over Mr. Ross when he fired at her. Although other grainier video footage filmed from a different angle could appear to support this conclusion, but when this footage is synchronized with the closer footage, it's clear that Agent Ross was not run over by the SUV and in fact emerged unscathed. After being shot in the head, Ms. Good's SUV then veers into a white car parked further down the road before crashing to a stop. The agents witnessing the scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care to Ms. Good. Eventually, Agent Ross approaches the vehicles and instructs his colleagues to call 911. Other agents can be seen blocking several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
I go check a pulse.
No, back up, now.
I'm a physician.
Hey, listen.
Going back to the footage that Mr. Ross took himself, there's a couple of things that we can glean from this. Number one is that Ms. Good appears very calm as a driver, arguably snarky.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
Which might have been her undoing. There seem to be conflicting orders. Some people are yelling, get out. Some are yelling, get out of the car. You can also see clearly from Mr. Ross's vantage point that Ms. Good is looking all the way away from him as she backs up and also turns the wheel all the way to the right. In other words, turning to get out of that situation and not towards any of the agents. You can also tell from the footage that the engine is revving at this time, indicating that the car is going to speed up. But at the same time, this is all taking place at a very low rate of speed, close to 0, as she's doing what is obviously a 2-point turn. At the same time that another agent appears to be lunging into the driver's side door in an effort to apparently turn the wheel to the left towards the agents. You can also see Ross switches his phone from his right hand to his left that frees up his right hand to pull out his firearm. But it's also clear that he never drops the phone and continues recording in his left hand while simultaneously taking his firearm out with his right hand and shoots at least twice. It also seems pretty clear that the reason he was arguably in front of the car was for video recording purposes, and that at any time he could have gotten out of the way. And I will opine at this time that holding your cell phone in one hand while firing with the other seems pretty reckless, if not depraved indifference to the human life.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Now, given the Trump administration's refusal to participate in the investigation, and the fact that this video comes seemingly directly from Mr. Ross's cell phone, it's extremely likely this video was leaked by either Mr. Ross himself or someone in the chain of custody at the Department of Homeland Security, probably because they think that this video is exculpatory, which seems likely given that it was leaked to a right-wing news source. And as is the case in many instances, evidence can and often does support two diametrically opposed arguments at the same time. But from all angles, the video footage depicts a hostile, clumsy, and unnecessarily violent operation. The Minnesota officials have stated their intent to hold unlawful actors in the shooting incident criminally accountable. And to bring charges against a peace officer for the use of deadly force, the state must be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the officer's use of deadly force was not justified. Section 609.066 of the Minnesota Code governs the authorized use of deadly force by peace officers. Now, assuming for purposes of this analysis that the offending ICE agent would be deemed a peace officer, which is not 100% certain, there's not a lot of case law on this, there is a possibility that a Minnesota jury could convict the ICE agent under the present circumstances. How likely that would be remains to be seen. Now, Minnesota's applicable statute permits the use of deadly force when, quote, an objectively reasonable officer would believe, based on the totality of the circumstances known to the officer at the time and without the benefit of hindsight, that such force is necessary to protect the peace officer or another from death or great bodily harm, provided that the threat can be articulated with specificity, is reasonably likely to occur absent action by the law enforcement officer, and must be addressed through the use of deadly force without unreasonable delay. Now, the statute also permits the use of deadly force to, quote, affect the arrest or capture or prevent the escape of a person whom the peace officer knows or has reasonable grounds to believe has committed or attempted to commit a felony, and the officer reasonably believes that person will cause the death or great bodily harm to another person unless immediately apprehended. As stated by the city attorney's office of Hennepin County, where the incident took place, this statute provides a, quote, significant defense to criminal charges brought against an officer accused of the use of deadly force. And under this defendant-friendly statute, it would be difficult, but not necessarily impossible, to prosecute Agent Ross for the unlawful use of deadly force. Turning back to the footage, Agent Ross might have a viable argument in his favor based on his first shot into Miss Good's SUV. At the time of the first shot, Agent Ross appears to be positioned maybe slightly in front of the SUV, which would be consistent with the corresponding bullet hole appearing in the front of the windshield in later footage. It is possible that a jury would believe an objectively reasonable officer would believe that deadly force was necessary to protect him or herself from death or great bodily harm when they're standing in front of, or at least partially in front of, a moving vehicle. The statute itself says that the decision of the peace officer to use deadly force is evaluated under the totality of the circumstances, which, quote, shall account for occasions when officers may be forced to make quick judgments about using deadly force. And you can certainly imagine a situation where a driver was driving 100 miles an hour directly towards an officer with the intent to kill that officer. Of course, this doesn't appear to be that situation. The SUV's tires here appear to be pointed away from Agent Ross at the time that the first shot is fired, which would undermine the self-defense claim under the state statutes. Her hands appear to be turning the wheel to the right. Further, at the time that the first shot is fired, the car is not speeding towards Agent Ross, but rather pulling away at an extremely low rate of speed. Thousands of motorists are pulled over every day. Revving the engine doesn't give the highway patrol license to murder the driver. And it's much harder to make the argument that you were acting reasonably and fearing for your life while recording video continuously in one hand and pulling out your gun in the other like a Kimbo Deagles. But certainly nothing is a given when prosecuting law enforcement officers, just ask Rodney King. And section 609.066 is extremely favorable to the officers themselves. But it's also possible that the analysis is different for the subsequent shots or shot fired by Mr. Ross and may not be justified under the Minnesota statute. Unlike the first shot that Mr. Ross arguably took in front of or partially in front of the vehicle, these later shots were taken from the side of the vehicle. Assuming that Ms. Good has committed some sort of felony here, the U.S. Supreme Court has addressed the use of deadly force in the apprehension of a fleeing felon in Tennessee versus Gardner. There, the court explained that, quote, the use of deadly force to prevent the escape of all felony suspects, whatever the circumstances, is constitutionally unreasonable. It is not better that all felony suspects die than that they escape. Where the suspect poses no immediate threat to the officer and no threat to others, the harm resulting from failing to apprehend him does not justify the use of deadly force to do so. Here, interpreting the Minnesota statute under the limitations imposed by Gardner, it's difficult to conceive of any reasonable grounds for Agent Ross to believe that Ms. Good's attempt to drive away from the ICE agents would cause death or bodily harm to anyone so as to justify her shooting. Now, given that ICE is trying to add everyone's information to their databases, it's probably a good time to wipe all of your personal and private information off the internet. Your cell phone number, home address, email address, and private social media accounts per incognito, or I'll see you in court. It also seems that any potential reasonability argument that Mr. Ross was in fear of his life evaporates the second he's to the side of the car. And additionally, use of force experts analyzing the video footage of the incident have also questioned Mr. Ross's decision to shoot at a moving vehicle at all. Most police departments, including Hennepin counties, discourage shooting at a moving vehicle because deadly force is unlikely to stop a car and could endanger bystanders. Now, it's also not 100% clear that an ICE agent qualifies as a peace officer for purposes of Minnesota's use of deadly force statute, and if so, then Mr. Ross could attempt to defend against a murder charge on the basis of self-defense under Minnesota law. But under this scenario, the state would bear the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Ross was not acting in self-defense at the time he shot Miss Good. But under these circumstances, Mr. Ross would find it difficult, if not impossible, to prevail on a self-defense claim, given that Minnesota's self-defense law applies only where the accused was not the aggressor and imposes a duty to retreat. To defeat a claim of self-defense, the state must disprove beyond a reasonable doubt that at least one of the four elements of self-defense, the absence of aggression or provocation in the part of the officer, to the officer's actual and honest belief that he was in imminent danger or death or great bodily harm, and that the action taken was necessary to avert that danger, the existence of reasonable grounds for that belief, and the absence of reasonable possibility of retreat to avoid the danger. And I think a jury would be hard-pressed to find that Mr. Ross did not engage in the aggression or provocation that ultimately resulted in the shooting. Video footage shows Mr. Ross approaching Miss Good's SUV, encircling it on the right side as he takes video with his phone, and re-emerging near the driver's front side of the car, and he first draws his gun as the SUV reverses away from him. And while the aggressor in an incident generally has no right right to claim self-defense under Minnesota law, an original aggressor can still claim self-defense if he actually and in good faith withdrew from the conflict and communicated that withdrawal expressly or impliedly to his intended victim. But here, the video footage shows no withdrawal or communication of withdrawal. To the contrary, it shows Mr. Ross originally instigating the incident and then proceeding with the escalation of tactics, nearing the vehicle, drawing his weapon, and aiming it at Miss Good. And another hurdle facing Mr. Ross in a self-defense analysis is his failure to retreat. A valid self-defense claim requires the, quote, absence of a reasonable possibility of retreat to avoid the danger. And the Minnesota Supreme Court has explained that a reasonable opportunity to retreat exists if there are, quote, options for escape or avoidance of peril rather than directly confronting someone. And here the video footage shows that Mr. Ross had time to get out of the way of the SUV because he did. Mr. Ross was not trapped. He was not unfettered in his ability to escape, back away, or otherwise protect himself. And in fact, he had the opportunity to take out his gun and shoot the driver. If I was the prosecutor, I would certainly argue that a reasonable officer would have done everything that they can to get out of the way first, before even thinking of unholstering their firearm. And of course, maybe put the video camera down too. Mr. Ross did neither, and still was seemingly unscathed. This failure to retreat or safely avoid the confrontation before resorting to force likely dooms any claim of self-defense in a non-peace officer scenario. On top of that, the state could argue that Mr. Ross did not have a reasonable basis to believe that he was in imminent danger of death and that the discharge of his firearm was necessary to avert that danger. That's because an objective standard applies to the amount of force used. In other words, the force must be proportionate to the threat and limited to that which would appear to be necessary to a reasonable person under the circumstances. Lastly, it's come to light that Mr. Ross is a 10-year veteran of ICE and was involved in the prior months in a similar situation that did result in his injury. And although Mr. Ross would likely argue that his past experience of being dragged by a car in a previous ICE enforcement operation demonstrates his actual and honest belief that he was in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, the state might use that same evidence to show that he was still traumatized by that incident and his belief was unreasonable. Now, as if the shooting itself couldn't have gotten any worse, towards the end of the video footage, we see other federal agents impeding a physician's attempt to render aid or to check the pulse of Miss Good as she lay slumped over the steering wheel of her car. Witnesses also report that ICE vehicles blocked an ambulance that arrived on the scene. These obstructions of medical aid could prove further grounds for liability against the agents under Minnesota law. Minnesota statute section 609.662 imposes a duty to render aid to shooting victims. Specifically, the statute provides that, quote, a person who discharges a firearm and knows or has reason to know that the discharge has caused bodily harm to another person shall, 1, immediately investigate the extent of the person's injuries, and 2, render immediate reasonable assistance to the injured person. If the victim suffers death or great bodily harm as a result of the discharge, the person who discharged the firearm is subject to imprisonment of up to 2 years and fines up to $4,000. Here, although Mr. Ross does appear to take his time in checking on Miss Good's condition and instructing his colleagues to call 911, his response might be deemed inadequate given that he's whisked away just seconds later. But it's also possible that response does meet the statutory obligations. Now, to the extent that ICE agents might have deterred bystanders and ambulances from reaching Miss Good to administer aid, those agents may also be liable under Minnesota statute 609.50, which prohibits the obstruction of legal process. That law subjects liability to anyone who, among other things, intentionally interferes with or obstructs a member of an ambulance personnel crew who is providing or attempting to provide emergency care. And the reports are that it took a significant amount of time for the ambulances to appear. ICE agents did not allow ambulances to park next to the victim, and as a result, they were forced to walk a significant distance to render aid. And the penalty for any such violation where the accused knew or had reason to know his obstruction created a risk of or actual death or substantial bodily harm is subject to imprisonment of up to 5 years and fines of up to $10,000. And less significantly, Minnesota's Good Samaritan law imposes a general duty to assist a person at the scene of an emergency who is exposed to or has suffered great physical harm, but the violation of this law results only in misdemeanor liability. And finally, criminal liability may also be available for the other ICE agents involved in the obstruction of medical care if it's found that these officers' actions or failures to act resulted in a death that could have been prevented by earlier medical treatment under Minnesota statute 609.205. With all this said, it remains unclear whether the state will in fact press charges. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison has stated that anyone who broke the law as part of this incident will be held accountable. And the Hennepin County's Attorney's Office has already stated it has jurisdiction to bring criminal charges against federal officers involved in the shooting. Although the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension initially said it was partnering with the FBI to conduct a joint investigation into the shooting, it later announced that it has been notified by the FBI that the investigation would be led solely by the FBI, and that the Minnesota Bureau would no longer have access to case materials, scene evidence, or investigative interviews necessary to complete a thorough and independent investigation. The Bureau further stated it may not be able to present a case for prosecution without access to evidence gathered at the scene of the fatality, especially when it's in the possession of the federal government. But then, of course, there are the immunity issues. Now, despite what noted Yale law graduate J.D. Vance says, federal officers do not have absolute immunity simply by virtue of being federal agents. This is, at best, a misunderstanding of established law. The Supremacy Clause of the Constitution does provide some immunity, but it does not give federal officers automatic immunity from state criminal law. We've talked a lot on this channel about qualified immunity, but that's in the context generally of civil suits against state law enforcement officers. Here you have the potential of state criminal law applying to federal officers. That doctrine comes from cases that we've actually talked about many times, like In re Nagel, which held that states cannot prosecute federal officers for actions that were authorized by federal law and necessary and proper to carry out federal duties. But that protection is conditional. It's not enough that the person is a federal officer or was on duty. Courts ask whether the officer was performing a federal function and whether the specific conduct was reasonably related to that function. If the conduct was excessive, reckless, or unrelated to legitimate enforcement needs, the Supremacy Clause arguably doesn't block state prosecution. So the legal question is not, was this an ICE agent, but was this killing necessary and proper to carrying out federal immigration law? The Supremacy Clause defense is fact-intensive and usually cannot be resolved just by holding up a CBP or ICE badge. States may prosecute federal officers if they act outside of the scope of their federally authorized duties or violate state criminal law in ways that are neither necessary nor proper to carry out their mission, but there aren't really many recent examples of state law enforcement charging federal agents. But it does happen on occasion. In a case called Battle versus the State of Maryland, a state court allowed the criminal prosecution of a federal DHS agent to go forward after he assaulted someone during an off-duty altercation at a convenience store. Mr. Battle claimed that he had a right to make a warrantless arrest of the victim he got in an argument with, but the court held that the Supremacy Clause did not protect him because he was not carrying out a federal duty, and his actions were neither necessary nor proper to enforce federal law. The court found that Battle had a personal motive to stick up for himself instead of by desire to perform his governmental duties. But this particular case is different because the agent was on duty, apparently and arguably enforcing immigration law in the neighborhood, which drew a crowd. And the video and witness statements indicate that the ICE agent got into a verbal argument with Good and her wife before he opened fire. And you can see in the video, it shows the agent trying to film their license plate. Good's wife says, "We don't change our plates every morning, it'll be the same tomorrow." She then tries to get back in the car. And we know that CBP and ICE agents are now photographing and scanning people they encounter to add to their various databases. But was the shooting necessary and proper to the governmental functions? Well, it depends on what level of abstraction you're talking about. Clearly, he's part of a general ICE operation, but then if you dig into the specifics of actually firing the weapon, that analysis might dovetail with the self-defense analysis that we already talked about. And the Supreme Court hasn't decided a supremacy clause immunity case in more than 100 years. So where does that leave us? Well, with a two-part test articulated in the Nagel case, whether the agent's acts were A, authorized by federal law, and B, necessary and proper. And on the first prong, courts disagree about what degree of authorization is necessary. And the second prong evaluates the agent's reasonableness, but courts seemingly don't agree with each other on whether the use is a subjective or objective standard. In the case Wyoming versus Livingston, the 10th Circuit reviewed whether federal officials and a contractor could be prosecuted under state law for trespass and littering after they unintentionally entered private land while capturing and collaring wolves as part of a federal wildlife program. The defendants transferred these state charges to federal court and argued they were immune under the supremacy clause because they were performing their federal duties. The appeals court held that they were entitled to supremacy clause immunity, meaning the state of Wyoming could not criminally prosecute them for actions taken in the course of federally authorized work. The court reasoned that federal law imposes an obligation on the agents to monitor wolves, and that the agents had an objectively reasonable and well-founded belief that their actions were necessary to fulfill their federal duties, even though they were not authorized to trespass. Now, many people on social media will insist that Minnesota authorities can charge Ross with murder based on the video alone, but Minnesota officials will have to consider all of these factors before making a charging decision, and they'll also have to gather a huge amount of evidence. If they do charge Mr. Ross with a crime, he'll obviously seek to remove that to federal court, and then they will battle over supremacy clause immunity. But to that end, the Hennepin DA wants people to send in videos and photos of the killing to their office so that they can develop an independent body of evidence. It appears the FBI took shell casings, car, and other physical evidence that they would normally use to prove how the crime occurred, but it's not clear that the FBI will turn that evidence over to the state. And you'd hope that the federal government would cooperate with the investigation, but so far it looks like the Trump administration will do everything it can to stymie it. But since murder has no statute of limitations, it's possible a future administration could still seek to hold Mr. Ross liable for the killing of Miss Good. But that's assuming that Trump doesn't issue a preemptive pardon for Mr. Ross before leaving office, though ironically a federal pardon wouldn't stop a state prosecution, but then we go back to federal immunity questions. But even if the Trump administration obstructs the state's access to evidence, the video footage may already be enough to secure conviction. It's certainly not an easy case. It never is when you're trying to prosecute a putative law enforcement officer, but sometimes it's worth the risk. Now, all this highlights why it's so important to get a great lawyer when you're dealing with your own case. Now, after I started this channel, officer, but sometimes it's worth the risk. Now, all this highlights why it's so important to get a great lawyer when you're dealing with your own case. Now, after I started this channel, every week I get hundreds of comments and emails from viewers.
Well, that's fucking that, man. Jesus. That's the whole thing. That has been a whole fucking thing. Did no one go on CNN?
You've also been criticized for your comments. The shooting, we should know,
Hey,
was Wednesday
Aurora.
at 10:37 a.m. Eastern. Just over 2 hours later, the Department of Homeland Security put out a statement.
Bunch of local lefties out here from the college who meet near the overpass. Maybe 8 tops every month. First they added the Palestinian Lebanese flag, and they added the Iran flag. Now, after last week, they added the Venezuelan flag with pro-Maduro signs, honk for Gaza signs. What a bunch of losers. She'll be back in here in a little bit too, Daniel.
Definitively asserting what had happened, defending the ICE agent, accusing Renee Good of domestic terrorism. That's a characterization that you reiterated in a press conference half an hour later. Now, Republican Senator Tom Tillis said, quote, "It was very unusual to have a senior law enforcement official to draw a conclusion about an event where the scene was still being processed. Generally speaking, law enforcement would recognize that a life was lost, that families are changed forever, the shooter's life will change forever. We're collecting video, we're trying to assess the situation." Why did you not wait for an investigation before making your comments?
Well, everything that I've said has been proven to be factual and the truth. This administration wants to operate in transparency. I have the responsibility as the Secretary of Homeland Security to know this information.
That's why your FBI said, we're going to handle this investigation, okay? We're not going to give you anything.
Possible, had just been in Minneapolis the day before, had already had conversations with officers on the ground and supervisors, and knew the facts, and decided that the department and the people of this country deserve to know the truth of the situation of what had unfolded in Minneapolis.
But with all due respect, Secretary, the first thing you said was, quote, "What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and rammed them with her vehicle." That's not what happened. We all saw what happened.
It absolutely is what happened. Those officers had been out in enforcement action. A vehicle had been stuck. They had come to help get that vehicle out. That's when this individual started blocking traffic for minutes and minutes.
You said that the woman attacked them and surrounded them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
blocked the road for a long time and was yelling at them and impeding a federal law enforcement investigation. That's what you need to focus on, Jake, is they were breaking the law by impeding and obstructing a law enforcement operation. They were breaking the law already.
Does that mean you
and these
shoot
officers
them?
were doing their due diligence and what their training had prepared them to do to make sure they were handling it appropriately.
You said within hours of her being killed, you said that she was a domestic terrorist. How do you define domestic terrorist?
She weaponized her vehicle to conduct an act of violence against a law enforcement officer and the public.
Come on,
As
Jake.
for doing that,
How can you assert
Get
with
her.
certainty that she was trying to hurt the officer as opposed to she was trying to flee the scene?
if you look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground. This individual, as you saw in the video that we released just 48 hours after
You're
the
such a goober, dude.
showed that this officer was hit by her vehicle. She weaponized it.
Right, our
She
stepbrother
defended his
for
life
help.
and those colleagues
Ooh.
around him and the public.
The question is, I don't doubt. My position is, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Some people say that it clearly showed that she was trying to hit him and did. Some people say, no, she was clearly trying to move her car and flee and get away. I don't know. What I'm saying is, how do you know? How can you assert for a fact within hours, before any investigation, this is what happened?
The facts of the situation are that the vehicle was weaponized and it attacked the law enforcement officer. He defended himself and he defended those individuals around him. That is the definition. When there is something that is weaponized to use against the public and law enforcement, that is an act of domestic terrorism. It happened in our shores. It happened here in our country. You don't get to change the facts just because you don't like them. We will continue to look at this individual and what her motivations were. We know that there was, throughout that morning, she had harassed and impeded law enforcement operations.
Mhm.
That raises the suspicion level with all of these law enforcement officers as far as paying attention to what her capacity is. And as you see on the videos, and they've proven out, that this law enforcement officer took the action that his training prepared him for, and he worked to make sure that he could save his own life and those around him.
How can you assert that there's no ambiguity in this before any investigation has taken place?
I had just been in Minneapolis and had been with those officers, had seen what they were facing on the
That
street,
doesn't mean
and had
anything.
talked to their supervisors as soon as the incident happened and had gotten the facts and seen videos before I ever went to talk at that press conference. And the Trump administration and President Trump is the most transparent and open government that we've ever had. Give the public the information, give them what they need to know about a situation so
Mhm.
they can have the truth as soon as possible.
So if this agents were perfectly fine, if everything he did was accurate, does that mean that other ICE agents should
He wasn't perfectly fine. He was injured. He went to the hospital.
No,
He
his
was
actions
treated.
were fine. I didn't
In
say-
fact, I think a lot of people and guests and even
What?
you yourself called the situation something
He was
very
walking
different than
around. He
untruthful
was
about
just
what it was as
fine.
far as
What did
this
I say that was
individual-
untruthful?
That this was not a correct
He went to the hospital because of procedure. I am so positive.
definition of what was happening on the ground.
I said that your description, they were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with their vehicle is not what we see on the videotape, and it's not.
It absolutely is the facts of what happened on the ground that day. They
No, it's-
were there pushing out a vehicle earlier. They had helped each
But
other
that's not
do
what you
that.
said. That's not what you said.
Yes,
Yes, they were
this is
pushing out a
absolutely
vehicle.
what I said. There's not one
We
thing
all
that-
seen the video. I don't need to relitigate it. We've all seen the video. She is blocking the street. They approach her.
You haven't seen the video of the entire morning and the previous encounters with this individual.
Oh, we
Yes.
have aired it. Yes, we have. On Thursday, we were airing and noting the fact that she was there for several minutes, for minutes and minutes and minutes. She was protesting without
And at
question.
previous locations that morning, that absolutely, that these vehicles had been previously down the block on video that you haven't seen. There's more information
But the
that
question-
this
the question
individual
is
was
not-
impeding law enforcement operations throughout the previous moments and hours before
The,
this
the
incident
question is, what was she doing when she was moving her car?
The question
That's
is,
the question.
is why are we arguing with a president who's working to keep people safe? Why are we arguing with law enforcement operations that have gone on?
What? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Is why are we arguing with a president who's working to keep people safe? Why are we arguing with law enforcement operations that have gone on in this country for years, and we're working to collect murderers and rapists and drug traffickers and fraudsters off the streets of Minnesota? We don't have
That's
local law
nothing.
enforcement
That's
and local,
nonsense.
elected officials that are partnering with us to help do that work. Overwhelmingly, the people in this country said they wanted America to be safe again, that they didn't want dangerous criminals on our streets. I would encourage the elected leaders in that city and in that state to work with us so that we can do our operations without the kind of opposition and people that are conducting and perpetuating the kind of violent rhetoric that we're seeing today.
DHS policy authorizes use of deadly force only, quote, when no reasonably effective, safe, and feasible alternatives appears to exist. Could he not have just gotten out of the way?
Now, this individual and this officer is a highly experienced law enforcement officer. He has years of training and specialized training for these types of situations. We're grateful that he's alive. It's a tragic situation, and we're going to continue to work on the investigation into the individual and find out what the motivations were behind her actions that day.
We're grateful that that he's alive too. I
Yeah,
want to play this
exactly,
one from the
Daniel.
officer's cell phone video.
Get out of the car. Fucking bitch.
Is that Agent Ross's voice calling Renee Good a fucking bitch?
I can't determine which one it is, but it could be, sir.
In June of last year, Agent Ross had his arm
She's
pinned
smiling.
to the car.
She's
as
smiling.
An immigrant who was a criminal drove away.
She's like, yeah, and she is a fucking bitch. Look at his face. She's like, yeah, and you know what? I'm proud. She is a fucking bitch. Oh my god.
June of last year, Agent Ross had his arm pinned in the back window of a car as an undocumented immigrant who was a criminal drove away from a traffic stop. It dragged him about 100 yards. Here's what Vice President Vance said about the incident this week. That very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
So maybe he shouldn't have fucking been there.
This is relevant. First of all, it's horrible that happened. If it's relevant, which the vice president seems to think it is, do you think this understandably very traumatic event that this officer went through last June might have influenced, as the vice president is suggesting happened, how he responded?
Now, there's no indication to that. That the facts are is that we've seen
Yeah, Vance kind of fucked
over
up by
100
saying
times
that,
in the last
didn't he?
several months against our law enforcement officers. So they definitely know that the threat is real. That individuals who are trained by activists to go out and to impede their law enforcement operations will weaponize their vehicles and try to run them over and drag them and not stop. So they certainly go into these situations with that knowledge that that could
Well,
happen,
Vance is
and
an
that's what their
idiot.
training prepares them for.
What evidence are you looking at that so many other people
Can't get
around the
any
country
story
look at,
straight.
and they say, it looked to me, her tires were turned to the right, she
He
was
was
within her car,
infected
and
with couch syphilis.
they see a woman trying to flee. You say she was trying to kill the officer. No
Mhm.
investigation has happened. Why are you so certain that your interpretation is the truth when an investigation hasn't even happened?
Jake, I'm watching the videos.
Other
I'm
people are
talking to
watching the
officers.
videos
I'm getting
and
the
coming to a
facts.
different conclusion.
Everything that we've stated as the Department of Homeland Security and this administration has been factual, and I wish we would talk factually about what we see every day from these protesters, what they do, what they say, how they chant over and over, kill ICE, attack law enforcement,
Nonsense.
how they're trained to perpetuate violence against them and to stop the work that they do every day. Each of these law enforcement officers takes an oath to protect this country and uphold the law. They go out every day and enforce the laws of this country to keep people safe. So these individuals that are out there harassing them while they do that work, doxing their identities, threatening them and their families, it's unacceptable, and that's why President Trump is so strong in supporting their operations in all of these cities.
The officer appeared to have fired 3 shots, the first one through the front windshield, the second and third through the side window. What is the justification for the second and third, given that the officer was out of
You're
harm's
watching
way?
the same videos that I am, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching the same ones, so you see how quickly the situation unfolded, how the officer was in front of the vehicle when she sped off, how she ran into him, and how he had to take quick action based on his training to defend himself and his colleagues around
Once
him.
he's out of
That's
harm's
very
way.
clear and factual from the videos that you can see. It's nobody's interpretation. We don't get to change it because we can see it with our eyes, and we can build on the evidence that we have on the ground.
She's a fucking retard. Oh, there it is. I'm about to get real fucking tired of this quote, though, Daniel. Let me tell you. Because everyone's going to be like, you're back there, you get out, and like, it's like, yeah, we get it, alright? Enough. No, embassy in the event Trump doesn't give a blanket pardon, all these clowns have to have investigations opened by the DOJ. No more trying the Biden method of being crime. We tried that. Another guy tried the full legal extent of the law. One would hope. How's it going over there, Cinderella?
What's good?
What are you thinking about all this?
It's quite disturbing.
No.
I'm feeling like the ICE agents are getting like, I feel like they're probably before they're going out, that they're like preparing for a football game kind of a thing. Like they're getting themselves all hyped up and like
Putting on face
testosteroned out.
paint.
Like, yeah, we're gonna go stop these fucking criminals. And I think that that's actually why the wife was saying beforehand, like, we're not gonna be changing our plates. I really think that there's like this propaganda thing going on where they're saying that the libs are becoming domestic terrorists basically, and they're predisposing all of their agents to
The liberals.
be aggressive.
The liberals. Fucking hell, mate. Fucking
Yeah, that's
hell,
like the scariest thing. And actually, several of the things that, like several of the clips that you were showing, that you showed, I felt like they were demonstrating that point.
I
That,
agree.
The
ones
officers
that
are getting
were
all
on
hyped.
Pod
Yeah.
Save America. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
Yeah, that's
really
why I like
fucking
jumped
crazy. They were like, dude, you're gonna get shot. You're gonna get shot. It's like, dude, I live there. Fucking let me get home. They're like, you see what happens? You see what happens? You don't learn your lesson? Bro, I fucking live there. That shit's crazy.
in. Yeah, exactly. Like, what is motivating them to approach her in that manner? You know, it's not like they're just like coming up with this by themselves.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell is going on. Everything.
Especially because it's just like, it's like it definitely seems like it's institutional at this point, since it's repetitive, right? It's not like, I don't know. It's not like isolated incidents. It just seems like it keeps happening over and over again.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I've just been playing video games every day, trying to like, chill out, not get too caught up in shit. But yeah, stuff like this, it's like just very discouraging.
Can you guys hear? Mika's dreaming. I don't know if you can hear it. She's barking in her sleep a little bit, but it's real quiet. No, you can't hear it. It is real cute, though. When will you be taken to the streets, Cinderella? Barcode asks.
It's a good question. I'm on the streets every day.
He lives for the streets. Alright, let's do some dailies real quick, like.
I guess I could take a camera out to the streets, though.
Yeah. Money penny. Nice.
How's ice been up in LA around you?
I haven't seen
now?
it very much, but I'm in sort of like a bougie area, so.
Oh, you haven't been engaging in your domestic like acts for the libs.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't been a domestic terrorist, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to necessarily say the word. I was kind of trying, but yeah.
Boom. Living room furniture. Boom. Perfection. Time. Yes, sir. Give us a good one, okay? Rebound from the last time. Okay. It's Antifa. Oh, this is that Dutch dude. This is that Dutch dude. Right. In the Netherlands, yep. Been a culinary terrorist. Raises in Alright, it's gotta be real recent. 7 years off. Ugh. Yeah, the quality of the picture should have clued me in. Okay. Jimmy Carter. It's gotta be in like the 80s. No, the 70s. 78 in Mexico. Mexico City. We're gonna guess. What's that here? I was 1 year off. Oh, in Cairo. Damn it. I fucked it. Yeah, that's not the Mexican flag. Why do Egyptians and Mexicans look so similar?
Yeah, I hadn't considered culinary terrorism. That is a great point.
Sweden. Is this a... Oh no. Oh no. We are in trouble here. Look at this guy. He's got a Hitler stash. This is Swedish, right? We're gonna guess Stockholm. In like the 40s. 30s. 25. Oh. We're getting shit. Aspen Ski School. This looks like 50s cars. Maybe 60s. Let's say 60. Aspen, Colorado. We're getting another bad fucking score today. God damn it. Where the hell is Aspen? Oh, there it is. Boop. 57. Cool. On your left. Alright. Winnipeg. Scotiabank, the official bank of the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, we won't get. Damn, just bad scores lately. Scotiabank. Cool. This has got to be it, right? Yay. They're like right here. Okay, what year? Do we have a hint? Yo, this guy's doing a Nazi salute? What the fuck? What year is this? It's an Aeropostale sweater, I think, so it can't be that recent, right? Cars look somewhat new. I don't know, like 2018 maybe? Don't tell me it's like 25, like that recent. 2015. Nice. Man, rough. We just ain't been... These last few times, we just ain't been doing so well in the... Yeah, the hockey team, I guess, the Winnipeg Jets. Been doing so well in the time guesser these last few times around. What?
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. I intervene here only because I want to respond to my friend from North Carolina, who I think starts with the incontrovertible point that it's wrong to prejudge whether this was murder. Then it is equally wrong to prejudge that it's self-defense. And I hope that that my colleague, with his astute prosecutorial understanding, would just as much reprove the Attorney General and the President for going out and claiming this was self-defense without a complete investigation, especially when all the evidence of our senses would suggest, if we're going to jump to a conclusion, we should jump to a conclusion that this was murder and not self-defense. But that's why we have the law. That's why we have a legal process. Now, the gentleman correctly states the situation, except he aborts the analysis midway. He says, well, she was told to stop, she was told not to go anywhere, but still, she drove her car away.
I went for AMD with this one. For gaming, I think AMD is the better choice right now.
And I certainly saw that. The Supreme Court has a decision just on this point, which I'm sure the gentleman knows. It was decided in 1985. Everybody in criminal procedure learns it. Tennessee versus Garner, 1985, because Tennessee had a statute which said if there is someone fleeing the police, they can be shot. And the Supreme Court said that's not the rule. They can only be shot if they're fleeing the police if the police have probable cause to believe that the suspect poses
To
a
Tower.
significant threat of death or danger to other people. Now, Ms. Good, who's a 37-year-old
it's not
mom
like a major brand.
of a 6-year-old boy, now orphaned by ICE, posed no threat to anybody. At least, as far as we can tell, there's no suggestion that she posed a reasonable threat to anybody. That's the legal question. Now, I think our committee should launch an investigation into this. This would be a worthwhile subject for us to get into at this point. But the idea that simply because she disobeyed an order that she can be shot in the face at point blank is wrong. That's not the law in the United States of America. And you know who knows that? Everybody on this side of the aisle who talks about Ashley Babbitt. Because everybody talking about Ashley Babbitt seems to think that, well, she was told repeatedly to turn around and to leave, and then she still tried to use violence to get into our chamber, into the speaker's lobby in order to get at us. And she was shot and repelled. And there were 2 different investigations which found that that was reasonable force used by the police because she was coming at them. But what
MacBook
we had
here,
in this
MacBook
case
there,
was this
Tower there.
woman was trying to leave. She was trying to get away from it. She wasn't coming at the police. She was trying to get away from the police. So to the extent that we want to engage in an immediate post-mortem analysis, and I agree with the gentleman that this is why we have law. This is why we have a real legal investigation, and it is completely irresponsible for the president and the attorney general to be out there claiming against all evidence that this was self-defense. This is why we have law. Okay, then we should wait until we can make a final pronouncement upon that. But let's at least get down what the law is. This is the House Judiciary Committee. And people cannot be shot in the face simply because they walk away from a police officer. And especially when we've got police officers who are masked. And I just want to finish on this point, and I'm happy to yield to my friend. Because look, all of us represent jurisdictions. We've got local police, we've got county police, we've got state police. None of them are masked. We've got the Army, we've got the Navy, we've got the Marines. None of them are masked. We've got the National Guard. None of them are masked. Why is ICE masked? This is what we want to know. Nobody's given us a good answer for this. Now, one suggestion comes from the fact that we have multiple January 6 defendants who are working at the Department of Justice itself, including Ed Martin and Jared Wise. So if they're hiring them at the Department of Justice, presumably they're hiring them at the Homeland Security and ICE, and maybe they don't want them to be identified because, of course, those people were very well video documented on the day of January 6th. There's a lot of suspicion that that's why these people are being masked, and they're not even telling us why they're being masked. But it's precisely this episode which demonstrates why people are afraid of ICE and will try to move away from ICE rather than submit to their order, even when people need to submit to a lawful order of the police. Happy to yield to the gentleman.
Well, and just in terms of the masks, I think it goes without saying that there is an element of undue danger when you deal with international criminals. But in regards to the facts of this case, is it not relevant the angle from the officer's perspective? The only angles I've seen have been from hindsight, where the officer was who pulled the trigger, and I'll stipulate it was a tragedy. Is it relevant to see what he saw? He couldn't see that the wheels were turning, if they were. He couldn't see what where the trajectory was. He was right in front of the car.
He shot her twice from the side of the car.
Is that not a relevant consideration to the ranking member?
Well, of course it's a relevant consideration. Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to a legal question, all of that is completely relevant. But what the administration is saying cuts completely against what we're able to see with our own eyes.
Well, were you saying something, Cinderella?
No.
Oh.
I accidentally started to, but no.
Oh, okay.
I am like playing Arc Raiders while watching your stream.
Oh,
kind
nice.
of a deal.
Nice. Let's see. What else is going on right now? This is obviously the big thing, but what else is going on? Oh, Iran. Iran is another big thing going on. More than 500 protesters in Iran have been killed. 10,700 people have been arrested as anti-government protests continue. Prepared for war, my ass. Y'all just got your asses handed to you. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about it right now. I want to know what the Iranian people want us to do. And I feel like I don't have a clear understanding of that. Oh, we're so scared, bro. Oh, we're so scared, Iran. Oh, so scary. Ironic. We return full circle to 2008 John McCain's bomb, Iran. What else to look at? Those are sort of the big things right now. I guess. Is there anything I'm forgetting? We did the Jerome Powell stuff earlier. Oh. Wow. Of course. That's shitty. That's how we knew that, like, nuclear was better. We all want nuclear. I thought we wanted nuclear. Yeah, they want it gone. They've wanted it gone for so long. Alright.
All right, what else is Arc Raiders?
Huh?
When are you gonna play?
When
are you gonna start
I'm
playing?
like on, I think, in like the last level of Outer Worlds, so gonna be real fucking soon. Like really, really fucking soon. I was loopy enough to believe it. Hell, it would be only because I would want John McCain to press the button to drop the trapdoor to hell under Trump. That would be funny.
I'll be able to boost you whenever you do start playing, probably.
You'll be what?
I could probably boost you a bit in the game.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm going to be going from 0, so.
Yeah, I've pretty much beat it, except for there's like this expedition part of the game, and the last step of it is to save up 5 million coins. So I'm just doing that, but I've completed all the quests and everything.
Nice.
And they have this ranking system, and me and a couple of guys that I've been playing with have figured, like, we've been competing to get to the top of the ranking each week, which has been fun.
How have you done?
We were top 3 the last 2 weeks, so now we're like up to this tier called Wild Card 1, and if we can stay in the top 5 this week, then we'll be in the like second highest ranking. And if we can get up to the ranking above that, that's the top 1,000 players.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that'd be cool.
Did I ever tell you my one gaming claim to fame when I was top 50 in the world in all-round score in Pokemon Snap?
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that. Hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah, you know, very skilled photographer. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Dude, I love all the Pokemon games.
Oh, me too.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, man. Asmon is such a bitch. I can't wait till his moment in the sun is over.
What do you do?
No, it's just everything he's been doing lately. Just simping on every totalitarian fucking bullshit thing.
True.
Taking the most retarded IQ takes on everything. Oh.
Breaking tonight, new details on the very first boat strike off the coast of Venezuela last fall that raise further questions over its legality. The New York Times reporting the Pentagon used a secret aircraft painted to look like a civilian plane in its first attack on a boat that the Trump administration said was smuggling drugs, killing 11 people last September, according to officials briefed on the matter. The aircraft also carried its munitions inside the fuselage rather than visibly under its wings. The laws of armed conflict forbid combatants from feigning civilian status to fool adversaries into dropping their guard, then attacking and killing them. That is a war crime called perfidy. Joining us now, Todd Huntley, director of the National Security Law Program at the Georgetown University Law Center and a retired Navy captain. And Rachel Van Landingham, a retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force. She is a professor of law at Southwestern Law School, Los Angeles. Both served as active duty judge advocates.
Greetings to you both. Because you were active duty judge advocates, that means you know the law. So maybe you can break some of this down for us. Let's read a little more from the reporting from the New York Times tonight. The aircraft swooped in low enough for the people aboard the boat to see it, according to officials who have seen or been briefed on surveillance video from the attack. The boat had turned back toward Venezuela, apparently, after seeing the plane before the first strike. 2 survivors of the initial attack later appeared to wave at the aircraft after clambering aboard an overturned piece of the hull before the military killed them in a follow-up strike that also sank the wreckage. It is not clear whether the initial survivors knew that the explosion on their vessel had been caused by a missile attack. MS now has not independently confirmed this reporting yet, but Professor Huntley, the reading of this feels very concerning.
Yes, it is. It's very concerning. Again, one of the fundamental principles in the law of armed conflict is that you cannot use a protected status to gain a military advantage with the intent to kill or wound the enemy. That is one of the earliest things that we are taught as judge advocates when studying the law of armed conflict, and it's so basic that it's hard to believe that that was missed.
Yeah,
I tell you, Professor Lamb, it just, in one sense, it's not hard to believe that it was done, though, because we've seen this administration go to extraordinary lengths in the past. And there are two thoughts that cross my mind on this story. The first is there's a reason why the international community is very, very clear, and certainly our laws are very, very clear about committing perfidy, this idea of disguising military craft to look like civilian aircraft. Very simple reason. You don't want the other side to suddenly start taking out U.S. airplanes with Americans on board, right? That's a common sense thing. We don't want you to confuse, a U.S. aircraft that's just taken off from National or from LaGuardia, right, with some type of military aircraft. So that's one thing. But the other part of it for me is what then are the consequences here? What are the possible ramifications in the international as well as the U.S. legal community if this evidence comes further to light and there's either a pattern of doing this or whatever else may be found from it?
Thank you, Michael. You're absolutely right. I mean, this is a long-standing fundamental tenet, principle, rule of the law of war, and it's because we want our own civilians to be protected. And war divides the world between civilians who are supposed to be protected and military members who sacrifice themselves in their nation's name, right? And so when you blow those things up or combine them, that means civilians are now targets. But let's be real here. We're already in Alice in Wonderland because there was no war here. That first boat strike, the second boat strike, the 28th boat strike are strikes of murder because there is no non-international armed conflict like the administration supposedly claims, because we have yet to see the classified legal memo justifying any of this. So we're not under the law of war. So there is no perfidy, it's just all murder. But if we're gonna believe the administration that we actually are in an armed conflict by failing to adhere to what looks like failing to adhere to the fundamental principle not to engage in perfidy, not to pretend to be a civilian aircraft in order to kill people.
Hang on, guys. I gotta pee. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what do you about that?
That means we're weakening everybody's adherence to that and the trust that we have amongst the international
Barco's trying to
community.
sway pill me.
When we go around training our forces around the world, hey, follow these laws. They're good rules. They help keep our society safe and
Just the one I'm watching.
Professor Huntley, I think Professor Van Landingham is getting it exactly right there and not letting us miss the forest for the trees. Because if you dig into the reporting, there are 3 sources who tell the New York Times, okay, yes, it wasn't painted the way it ordinarily should have been painted to denote that it was a military vehicle. But we want you to know the transponder was transmitting a military.
Was she summoned?
Huh?
Is she summoned?
Was she summoned? No.
Oh, okay.
Did I attend a Jewish school? No, I did not. I went to international schools. I did go to school with some Israelis.
Oh, okay, then I guess I like you a little
Fuck, you
bit more.
scared me.
What happened?
Yeah, just Cinderella said something and it was loud in my ear and I wasn't expecting it.
Oh, I have the
Oh, sorry.
How's Green Go doing?
Good. Lots of socializations.
Yeah? Did you go to bed?
Yeah, so you just walk the dogs.
Okay.
Ooh. Hello again.
Hey.
How is everybody? Miss you too. You want that?
Everyone's
Gringo
good.
joined me on some raids the other day.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
I'm envious.
Yeah.
How'd they go?
Pretty good, actually. Successfully extracted from both of them.
Oh, did I do it again?
No, it might have been me. Oh, no.
That's probably me. Well, thanks for saving them. They saved the day.
Yeah, I'm going
Guess
to
it
be joining
saves you
too. I was wondering if they were more for security or just maintaining the culture. I feel like, well, they, when I was growing up, it felt like they were more for maintaining the culture, but like now, who fucking knows, Who fucking knows at this point?
I just jumped back into the conversation.
It's scary. You missed a lot.
Yeah, a little, wait, recap?
Oh, there was a lot of stuff we went over. I don't know if I can recap all of it, but
yeah,
there was a lot more of the ICE stuff. There was this. We talked about Iran. We talked about... Oh, shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Boat strike. Yeah, lots of stuff.
To watch the part I missed.
Yeah. You pull chat up again if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we'll finish this video.
Tail number so that it could be identified via radio signals. But if the boats do not have the equipment necessary to pick up that radio signal, then does that count? And is what I am understanding from Professor Van Landingham is like all of this would have need to be signed off on by someone, right? There isn't a lawyer who looked at all of this. And if they weren't fundamentally concerned with the baseline rationale, then all of these details, like how the plane is communicating, whether or not is a military aircraft, that all in some ways, while absolutely important, becomes secondary to the bigger point, which is you have not set the legal predicate for war.
No, you're right. And Rachel is spot on. And, thinking back to my time advising commanders on operations, this is, again, something that, you should have caught. But this happens because when the Secretary of Defense, calls jag-offs and tries to ignore or just go around their advice, this is what happens. There are legitimate uses for planes like this, for surveillance, for gaining access to denied areas in some cases. But anybody who was reviewing this, any JAG reviewing this, would have then said, yes, we can now use a different platform, right? If you need the surveillance capabilities of this specific aircraft, then if we're going to carry out a lethal operation, we bring in a different platform that is clearly a military platform. But in, again, ignoring JAGs, going around experienced legal advisors, that's lost. And I have to wonder if this particular aircraft wasn't chosen to conduct the strike because it's a cool toy, right? It's something that is new, and so, you know, it's lethal, as the SecDef would say, and so it was chosen despite the very clear legal issues that arise from its use in this manner.
Well, one could. Well, that leads me to a couple questions then, Professor Van Landingham. One, is this why they don't want to release the video? Because of what the people who have seen the video are now describing to the New York Times? And then secondly, to the point you made earlier, the broader point about where this all comes from, how there is no war, we do remember that the whole pretext about Venezuela came from like a PR team in Florida. You remember in Aurora, Colorado, when they said it was being overrun by Tren de Agua?
Tren de Agua.
She's killing it.
Oh no. Tren de Agua. It's supposed to be Tren de Aragua.
Oh.
Yeah, butchered that one a bit. Oh, happy girl.
That was a made-up thing by a PR firm in Colorado for the building that was having issues. They weren't keeping up with their tenants, and the president jumped on it. And we've now gotten to blowing up boats in the Caribbean and capturing the president of Venezuela from a made-up thing. It's insane.
It is quite a bit made up, except for the fact that that president of Venezuela is, you know,
he's a bad guy.
Leader of it is a bad guy. Yeah. But I go back to the alleged failure to adhere to fundamental law of war. If we're going to tell our service members we're in a war, even though we're not in a war, but if we're going to tell them we're at war, we also tell them that you can look your spouses in the eye, you can look your children in the eye once you come home from that war, because you're fighting honorably by adhering to the law. So if we're going to see destruction of law up here, we're now seeing it down here, and that affects every single service member in uniform today, because it's the commander-in-chief's job, and all commanders on down, to preserve the moral compass, right, to keep it on true north for their service members. So by playing fast and loose with the law at the fundamental level, we're not really at war, and we are in a pretend war, but we're not going to follow the laws of war anyway. What is that doing to our service members? There's moral corrosion going on here, and that's incredibly sad and shameful, in addition to the lives that are being lost through these murders.
Wow. All right. I think it's time for some Monday Night Jams.
But why is the rum gone?
It's not gone. You can have some if you want. Did you say no?
No, I said I know.
Oh. Get your suggestions in. Goodbye, YouTube watchers.